My stepmother treated me awfully. It ruined my relationship with my father.
Collateral damage.
As the title says, this happened quite a few years ago when I, 30 female, was a kid, but the entitlement still stings. My parents were in the middle of a nasty divorce. My dad had moved several hours away and was now living with the other party because of the divorce, named in the solicitor's papers, aka my stepmother. By the way, this comes from mycologist false 2332, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, even though I was only a kid, I was semi-aware of what was really going on. It wasn't the first time my dad had moved out because of another woman, but it was the first time the word divorce had been mentioned. In the past, he had always come home after a few weeks full of apologies. So when my stepmother first met me and loudly declared, "Call me mum," I was immediately in her bad books by saying, "No, thank you.
Come on, guys. What are we doing?
Why are we asking new kids to call you mum? I'm your mum now. No, you're not. I don't know you."
What did you just say to me?
But her entitlement only got worse. While Dad was in the process of moving in with my stepmother and sorting custody of me with Mom and solicitors, he would sometimes take me out on day trips. But stepmother always came too, and I became her little project. I wasn't the prettiest kid, but my mom has always said I should enjoy being a kid and not worry about looks for now. In contrast, stepmother's kids, one older than me, one younger, both wore makeup and dressed like they were going to a nightclub. And as stepmother's little project, I had to look like I was going clubbing too. My clothes would be removed as soon as she saw me and replaced with crop tops and mini skirts. She'd sit me down and force my hair into plaits with hair gel. My original clothes would always conveniently go missing when it was home time. What? But my mom couldn't play that game with my new trashy clothes. And if a single hair clip I had been forced to wear went missing, then Dad would be calling up my stepmother's behalf, talking about solicitors and police for theft of property. As a custody arrangement was eventually worked out as me living full-time with Mom, staying with Dad for the school holidays, and that first and last week was rough on me. In all fairness, my dad did try to keep me entertained, but I wasn't used to living with other children. I was an only child. That plus sleeping in a strange place after never being away from my mom for my whole life equals an uncomfortable situation. After a few days, I confessed privately to my dad that I missed Mom. Now I can see how that would hurt his feelings, but I wasn't asking to go home. I was actually angling to use his mobile to call her. I had used the stepmother's landline the day before, but she had hovered listening the whole time, and it just felt awkward. Dad looked upset, but told me to go and eat some lunch, and off I went. And here's where stepmother's entitled behavior exploded. Sitting next to my stepsister, I suddenly had a plate slapped down in front of me by my stepmother. There! I was confused, but said, "Thank you," and started to eat. Throughout the meal, she started making snide comments in my direction while talking to her daughter. Things like, "Well done, sweetheart. See, you'll never disappoint me unlike someone I know." I was a very timid kid, so I don't know where I got the burst of confidence to say something, but I said, "Is something wrong?" And stepmother snapped back, "You know what, OP? Your father's very important to me and you've really hurt his feelings." I tried to explain, but she snatched my plate and stalked out of the room. I followed her, still hungry, and tried to take my plate back, but she just unleashed on me. Standing in the hallway with this almost stranger screaming in my face is something I'm never going to forget. I was apparently an ungrateful brat, and she washed her hands of me. I burst into tears and completely shrank into myself as she just kept screaming.
Where is Dad?
Little reminder, I was a child under 10 years old and she was over 30. My only crime was missing my mother. I honestly think that she should have been the adult here and had a bit of empathy. How entitled do you have to be to think it's okay to go crazy at a sobbing kid? So yeah, not something I'm likely to forget. End results, I got taken home that day. Several hours driving with Dad, sat in total bone-crushing silence. It did damage our relationship, unfortunately.
That is one of my favorite adjectives.
Bone-crushing?
Yes.
It's a good one. The thing is that I don't think your stepmom is damaging your relationship with your dad. I think your dad is damaging his relationship with you. That he's not standing up for you.
Was he there? Like, did he leave? Did he have to go to work? Like, does he work at night? Like, what are we doing? Like,
I think he was still there.
I refuse to believe that Dad was present to hear fully throated screaming at a child and did not step in. Like, he had to have been gone.
I don't
Because
know.
also the stepmom sounds pretty opportunistic.
So maybe she like went in on OP when he was gone.
That's my guess.
But there's more. While stepmother was squawking the house down, I vividly remember seeing him through my waterfall of tears, standing at the top of the stairs, watching us and saying nothing. I have no idea what he said to my mom to explain why I was home 2 days early, but I never spoke to her about it. Today is actually the first time I've spoken about it, other than to my husband when we first met and were swapping awful family stories. Fortunately, the only 2 occasions I've seen my stepmother in the 2 decades since have been at family gatherings where we've happily ignored each other. Edit. Just correcting some spelling mistakes and saying wow and thank you guys. Up until now, I suppose I was gaslighting myself into thinking I somehow deserved her shouting at me like she did. I just wanted to add a detail post-blow-up. The custody arrangement changed after that day. I never stayed at or visited stepmother's house again. Instead, it was agreed that Dad would pick me up from school every other Friday and we would stay with his parents until Sunday afternoon when he'd drop me back with Mom. And honestly, it was always awkward from there. Mostly because I was resentful that he didn't jump in and defend me against stepmother. I still don't know why he didn't, as he had always, and still does if he gets getting sentimental. But if anyone spoke to me like that or ever hurt me, he'd beat them up. See where my gaslighting comes from? He always said he'd be on my side. So the fact that he wasn't must mean I really deserved it, etc., etc. Also, my dad and stepmother weren't married at the time of the entitlement explosion. They got married a few months later on holiday abroad. I wasn't invited, but my invitation arrived only a week before they were due to leave, and it was half-hearted at that. Dad blamed the solicitors for not delivering the message quickly enough, even though they were divorced by then. The situation was still very hostile, and messages were passed via solicitors for about a year post-divorce. Mom was keen to keep things official for a while, as Dad tended to get overly and loudly offended at everything. One time, he dropped me off with Mom, they started arguing, and her new boyfriend got involved. Then the following week, a solicitor's letter appeared claiming their party had been injured by their... Mom wasn't keen on me attending their wedding. Too many horror stories of kids getting abducted by a parent during or following a divorce. So I said, no thank you, and didn't go. I'd have looked out of place anyway. Full disclosure though, I still love my dad. We get on well when we chat via text occasionally, but we don't see each other much. I just don't like the majority of his choices. Stepmother being a big fat one. Literally, Dad always used to gloat about how she was to my mom, how he traded up, about her stomach was flat and her belly button pierced, whereas my skinny mom still had a saggy belly from having me. Stepmother, of course, reveled in his compliments. I always remember her swinging her red hair around in a really exaggerated way whenever he said how gorgeous she was. She's like,
so pretty.
Interesting. Tables have turned, though, over 2 decades later, and my mom looks exactly the same as she did back then, except for gray hair. But stepmother is now rather big, and her red hair is now really red, clearly out of a box. The 2 occasions in 2 decades that I've seen stepmother went like this. The first was a family party for grandparents' 60th anniversary. In front of everyone, she exclaimed, "OP!" and kissed my cheeks like she was thrilled to see me. Ignored me when everyone stopped looking. My grandparents are very proud people and clearly didn't tell extended relatives that their son had got divorced and remarried. 2 decades?
I don't know. No, maybe they know and then people just weren't saying anything. I'm thinking that maybe Dad low-key was like, all right, I'm just picking new family over my daughter. But then also made it like, I'm going to make it so that my daughter never has to experience that again. But also, I'm not going to be brave enough to just straight up tell my wife she was here's the line, you are way out of line talking to my kid like that. We don't know if that happened, but it's like, yeah, whatever.
For the whole day, people kept saying to me, oh, you're blank's daughter. Your mom looks so different. Her red hair looks interesting. And I had great fun repeating the phrase, that's definitely not my mom. Dad left her for that one. Wait, people thought that your mom was, they knew your mom, but thought that your mom looked like your stepmom now?
Who are these people?
The family, the extended family members at the grandparents' 60th wedding anniversary. They had met Opie's mom before.
How close are you really to these people? Like, how much do you need to care? They don't even know what your mom even looks like.
Never found out if Dad or stepmother heard. I avoided them throughout and left early. You should never leave early because we have so many full episodes of stories just like this waiting for you. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit more to the story. Any final thoughts?
I certainly wouldn't let a woman screaming at my child for no reason get away with it.
The second time was my wedding. Stepmother was absolutely not invited. It was just meant to be a tiny ceremony, parents only. But Dad called a few days before and pleaded, just for the ceremony, not the reception. Don't worry, you won't know she's there. Highly doubt that. With her behavior, I highly doubt that we won't know that she's there. For some background, my mother-in-law had already kind of taken over. Parents' only wedding suddenly included a lot of her relatives. So I just shrugged. Whatever, nothing's really how I want it anyway, so why not? True to his word, Dad and stepmother didn't interact with anyone and left immediately after. Although stepmother couldn't resist a tiny flash of entitlement by bringing her own camera. Note, my mom didn't attend the wedding after hearing that my dad was invited. Also, she was very ill at the time, so she obviously didn't want Dad to see her that way. But we visited her after the reception, and I gave her my bouquet, which was nice.
Nice. I think in like a really sort of cowardly and misguided way, the dad thought he was doing what was best for OP, because immediately, like, that clearly action was taken because the custody arrangement immediately changed after that interaction with the screaming happened. And she had said something about how she missed Mom, which, dude, if you're a father in a divorced parent situation, like, you have to understand that I planned a party for my mother, but my sister just had to ruin it.
She's a freaking party pooper.
I, female 20s, have been planning my mom's, Sarah's, birthday milestone for the past year. She and I have a pretty much non-existent relationship with one another, but despite this, it has always been a dream of hers to have a big party to celebrate this particular birthday, which she wanted all her children to be involved in planning. And given all the sacrifices she made for us growing up, it's the least I could do. By the way, this comes from user own violinist 6768. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Do. Last year, I asked my siblings, female 20s and male 20s, if they would like to help out with planning something. My brother Liam said he would rather not be involved because he has ongoing problems with Sarah. My sister, Lisa, said she also had no interest in being involved because Sarah didn't throw her a $4,000+ baby shower for her second baby. I mean, hey, I demand $4,000 as tribute, mother.
Mama, give me $4,000 for all of my babies.
I chose not to push things more. I respected their decisions, did my research, and settled on a luxury weekend for Sarah, our 2 godmothers, and 5 other aunts. The budget for this was quite generous, not including their gifts. I paid for everything myself because Lisa and Liam had been clear about wanting no involvement. The only other people that were involved were one of my godmothers and a paternal aunt. Coordinating everyone's schedules required it. In terms of who knew what the plans were, the only person I told directly was Sarah's sister. Well, I found out that Lisa has been telling everyone about the plans, which were 1, supposed to be a surprise, and 2, she had nothing to do with. According to Lisa, she single-handedly planned and paid for everything because Liam and I are selfish. I was told this by one of my aunts, and my cousin corroborated the information. Funny enough, Lisa messaged me to find out if I was still going ahead with the plans for Sarah, and given the timing, I don't doubt she has been telling everyone these lies. She has also been insistent that I spend additional money to hire a makeup artist and hairstylist and pay $2,400 for theater tickets on top of everything because it's a better idea. To be clear, the agenda is a luxury spa weekend with access to full facilities, afternoon tea, a private 5-star dinner, and 2-hour-long massage sessions each. In addition to this, everyone was receiving a luxury gift. Sarah is getting a designer handbag, and the godmothers and aunts were getting designer purses. I would have been fine with Lisa asking to be involved, even if she was not contributing to the costs. My issue is that she has been dishonest with everyone and is now trying to change what I have spent over 6 months properly organizing without spoiling things for the birthday ladies. I will admit I'm frustrated because Sarah has heard about everything and believes that Lisa is the one who planned and paid for the weekend, and that I'm being selfish because of our falling out. So now is when you just go, here's the receipts. Hey, here's this really cool bank statement. You want to look at it?
Look at the money. Follow the paper trail.
Come on. It hurt to hear what Sarah truly thought about me from Liam. But she thinks about that beast on a lie, OP. Good diggity doodly. When you realize people are being informed by deceit and you have the truth shall set you free.
Yeah, just show the truth.
Anyway, it's also frustrating because despite how awful Sarah has been in the past, I remembered how important this was to her and have tried to make the effort. I have no intention of taking credit. I want to throw this now.
Why?
People were worried I was going to throw it earlier. Now I'm actually going to throw it because what is wrong with you, OP?
Why?
Liam said he would tell Sarah it was me who arranged all of it and that Lisa is a lying cow. Part of me wants to cancel it all and let Lisa explain what happened. The other part is telling me to just go along with it and be the bigger person. Would I be the a-hole for canceling the weekend? Yes, you would. It might be important to note that these are not their only birthday plans. All 8 of them have booked a week-long holiday abroad to celebrate together. Regardless of what happens with my arrangements, they will still have a celebration. And there is an update. You would be totally the a-hole if you cancel the weekend. You would be an a-hole to yourself and everyone else if you don't just go, hey, actually, she's lying. I did this.
I think I'm a little bit confused, quite truthfully. What's this weekend?
Lisa, this is like super birthday weekend extravaganza for a milestone birthday. I'm guessing it's like 50 or 60 or something. And this was supposed to be a secret birthday that OP spent all this money and time planning and preparing.
Yeah, I got
and
that.
Keeping a secret. And now Lisa's going, I did it. And OP's being mean.
Before we cancel everything for everyone, I think we just say, hey, y'all, that's not true.
I don't know why Lisa's been saying that she's been the one planning this, but it's not true, and it's been me. And since Mom already knows about the secret, I just want to put it out there.
I just don't understand why we would like punish everyone for one person's lie.
Yeah, you're like, I'm being the bigger person by ruining everyone's trip. Instead of just being like, my sister's lying. That's weird. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like she's lying. Let's
No, it could just be like, hey, like, I think there's been some kind of miscommunication. I paid for everything here.
Jeez, I can't. If you're this non-confrontational, it's an issue. You need to learn how to confront moments of conflict or disagreement in your life. Lisa's actively lying about something you're doing. You just need to say that. Full stop everything else. Just say she's lying. Here's the update, though. I decided to cancel part of the weekend. I did not think it was fair that the others would be missing out due to Lisa and Sarah.
Yeah.
After speaking with the hotel, they were happy to cancel the rooms, dinner, and fully refund me. The spa has a different policy, and because I paid for 16 hours of spa time, they were only willing to either fully refund me with gift vouchers, meaning they would have a year to use them on an alternative date, or partially refund me for 8 hours and gift voucher the rest. Alternatively, I could keep the booking without them being guests, and they would still have their day pass for the spa facilities. I have chosen not to cancel the spa due to this. They will have an afternoon tea and spa day. Okay, so it's still a weekend, just not as elaborate of a weekend. Everyone will still be receiving the gifts I bought. I had already purchased them in advance, as it is too much effort to now try and return them. There have been some developments about the situation, which I will explain further. As it stands, I have now cut off Lisa, not really due to the situation, but because of some other things mentioned. Sarah has tried to apologize to me. Liam has told her that I am not interested in her apology and that this will be the last time she hears from me in a while.
Well, we know Sarah is OP's mom. Lisa's OP's sister. OP is throwing this big old thing for her mom and for some other aunts and family members.
Okay.
Lisa lies and says, I planned this.
I've got it right here. So not only did she not actually hear that, she's hearing it secondhand from her brother, and she's only saying this because she's informing that off of, she's acting this way. It must be because we had that falling out. Not because that's not how she really thinks about you. This is in the context of a lie. Other family members got involved, and the divide is painfully obvious. My paternal side agrees with my choices. My maternal side, not so much. I don't really care about what they think at this point. Here's some more developments. A couple of days ago, I spent the day with my paternal aunt that had initially helped me to arrange the schedules. She told me that she had heard Lisa had been talking badly about me to some relatives. Now, to confirm, Lisa and I did not have any apparent ongoing issues with one another before all of this happened. We have had disagreements and reconciled in the past, as is expected in my family, and I mostly did so because I have a nephew who doesn't like not being able to speak with me. Think of the children. Good job, OP. There is speculation amongst relatives that she is jealous about the fact I'm having a baby, potentially a girl. All the other babies that have been born into the family, Sarah's grandchildren included, have been boys. If I have a girl, she will be the first granddaughter and great-granddaughter. Now that this has been mentioned, it kind of makes sense because Lisa was off when I told her that I was pregnant. Like, yeah, now that I say that, it makes sense that when I told her I was pregnant,
the whole time.
she turned bright red and steam started to come out of her ears.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm going to get you for this.
I'm gonna get you, my pretty.
It's starting to make sense now.
Yeah. And then she flew off on a broomstick and stole my dog.
She made a disgusted noise and called me problematic. Are you sure she didn't just mumble the word pregnant? She was also making a point of saying that her children are the best grandchildren and the favorites. Lisa is not entirely wrong about that. Part of the reason Sarah and I do not speak now is because of how she treated my son, her second-born grandchild. Months after I had him, Lisa miraculously fell pregnant with her second child. Sarah was responsible for arranging a separate first birthday for my son because my relatives were being difficult about making the journey to where I live, even though I constantly made it to them so that they could see my son. It turned out to not be a party for my son. It was, in fact, for Lisa. This led to me calling Sarah out on a load of issues and cutting contact. I do not know the full extent of what has been said because no one has told me anything. My aunt said it is likely to upset me if I found out. I mentioned the situation with Lisa and Sarah to see what she thought. She was not pleased about any of it and has made contact with both Sarah and Lisa. She plans on coming over next week to talk to me in person about what happens. My aunt thinks Lisa has done this because Sarah wants to be involved with my children. Apparently, she has been devastated ever since I called her out on things after that party 2 years ago. She realized she crossed the line, and the only reason I had reconciled with her was because I wanted my son to have a relationship with his grandparent. She ruined it for herself. By saying I didn't care enough to make an effort for her birthday, Sarah might have changed her mind about me. What? Sarah might have changed her mind about me? What do you mean? Lisa would get to keep Sarah to herself, which means more money spent on her?
Like Lisa is perhaps trying to destroy the already fraught bond between Sarah and OP so that she can get more money spent on her by Sarah.
Yeah, so maybe it was supposed to be Lisa saying I didn't care enough to make an effort for her birthday means Sarah might have changed her mind about me. Lisa would get to keep Sarah to herself, which means more money spent on her.
Basically, OP is saying, I think that Lisa lied because she wanted Sarah to spend all of the money on
Right,
Lisa.
she wants Sarah to be number one grandma for her kids. And by the way, you can spend more time listening to full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to stories or podcasts. Search OK Story Time. And you have 54 days now. 54 days
So many days.
I'm correct. But we don't have 54 days of story left. We only have a little bit of story left. And I think, this story has gone twisty-turny, up and down, left and right. I'm not sure what's going on, but I do know one thing with absolute certainty.
And what is that?
You should have just called Lisa out when you learned she was lying. This was a 2-minute
Call these liars out, man.
text message right up in a group chat. Looking back on all of this, I don't know why I even bothered trying to do something for Sarah. If anything, I am more disgusted by Lisa and Sarah now that things are coming to light. I had forgotten a lot of how I was treated by Sarah due to postpartum depression and the constant gaslighting from my maternal side. This whole thing has made it so clear to me. They're all toxic. I do not want any of them in my life except for Liam. And that is the end of that story. And honestly, it sounds like Liam might be one of the most toxic people in your life because he's the one who told you that your mom said that, even though it was based on a lie. I feel like there's more information we're not getting about OP's dynamic with her mother. That would probably really inform us as to why she was so quick to be like, all right, I'm done. I heard you say one thing about me behind my back.
It was just a really bad, I think it was already a really bad relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
We're not fully clued in onto that.
My father is unhappy with my plans, so he took back his gifts.
Can't do that.
I, 23 female, have been with my boyfriend for nearly 3 years. When we met, I lived abroad, and have been long distance for a while with many visits in between. He is so wonderful. We are committed to each other and have plans to move in together as soon as the stars align. By the way, this comes from the hated daughter. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So my dad, 52 male, doesn't like my boyfriend, but he has only met him once and really has no reason to. My theory is that he doesn't want me to move abroad again, and that is the reason he isn't fond of him. My dad has a history of spouting out hurtful comments to my family, and anger is always his knee-jerk reaction. I actually have a list of the hurtful things he has done or said to me over the years in case something huge happens. This Christmas, I will be traveling to see my boyfriend and his family. I knew this would upset my dad, but it was the best time for me to take time off of work. I sent my parents this text message to tell them the news. Hi, Mom and Dad. I have to tell you that I booked a trip to see my boyfriend for Christmas. I feel like this will upset you, but I hope you know that I did not intentionally mean to hurt you. The reason I chose this time to go is because I can only take a few days off of work because of state holidays. I love you both so much, and I know I've disappointed you a lot. Please understand that hurting either of you is the last thing I ever want to do. I do, however, have a relationship with someone I care very deeply about, and I know that boyfriend wouldn't be welcome in your house. I wish I could spend the holidays with all of the people I love, but I know that isn't possible right now. I thought I could come home before I leave to have our own Christmas celebration, but I understand if you don't want to see me. I'm sorry that I sent this as a text message, but I knew I wouldn't be able to say everything I wanted if I phoned you. Please know that I love you both very much, and I hope that you still love me too. A few minutes later, I received the following text from my dad. I want $9,000 by the end of the month for the car, or I am coming to get it. The choices you make affect your whole family and not just you. Think about it! Think about it. I was nice and paid for you to travel, and this is my reward. Thanks a whole bunch. And you say you care. I really don't think you do. If you did, you wouldn't be doing this to me and your family. Oh, and $500 for your new phone, or I'll be taking that too. The mentioned car was a gift my parents gave me in high school, and they also recently bought me a new phone. There's no way in heck I will have $9,000 by the end of the week. To be honest, I don't really care about losing these two things because I live close enough to a grocery store and to my office to survive without a car, and it's not a big deal. However, I feel like this message behind it speaks loudly. I live 5 hours away from my parents, and without a car, it's not easy to ever see them again. I guess that is what he wants. I am not canceling my trip, and if he doesn't calm down, I guess he will take my car and my phone. I don't even know how to respond to him at this point. Another thing that bothers me is my younger sister was also bought a car as I was. She has traveled to go all over to raves. She got tattoos. She does parties, does MDMA, and I guess it's okay. But me, I'm the one with a good job, a good plan, and a good relationship is the bad kid. As a side note, my boyfriend had moved in with me for the summer while he had a break from university, and my dad refused to speak with me or see me because of it. It's silly to me that he can choose not to talk to me for the whole summer, but as soon as I miss Christmas, I am some kind of Satan child. I am very close with my mom, and she supports me in everything I do. She is always the person I go to when something has happened between my dad and I. She has witnessed as well as been the victim of his outbursts. She told me that she knows I'm an adult and that I can't help who I fall in love with and that I'll have a great time. It hurts me that after everything she's seen over the years, she stays with him. But I guess that's another post for another time. I'm sorry if this sounds very first world problem-ish. It's hard for me to be a constant source of disappointment for my dad, but I also want to live my life my way. Time to bring out the high school emo kid CDs and complain more about how my parents will never understand me. I know that the holidays are important to some people, but it is really just one day. I guess my question is, what do I do to try and mend the relationship, or is it worth it? I don't know what he's trying to accomplish by threatening me and pushing me away. Does he think that being angry and saying hurtful things will make me want to spend time with him instead of my wonderful boyfriend? I don't know what to do. And we have an edit. As the day goes on, he has also threatened to take my laptop, my TV, my game consoles, my bed, my pots and pans, etc. I guess I should be fortunate that my parents bought these things, but is this crossing the line? Sophia?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't. How is he going to take what? Like, how would he do that? No, you can't take back a gift. That's like legally, you can't. You have legal claim over these things.
Edit number 2. He texted me and said, we need to talk. Not over text, not over phone, face to face. Not sure what to do here. And we have the update. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
I didn't respond to any of my dad's texts over the weekend because they were hurtful and I didn't know what to say. As I mentioned in the original post, I was upset with his reaction, but losing my car / phone / TV / whatever else he threatened wasn't as upsetting for me as the message behind it. Yesterday, I was hanging out with a friend and my phone started to ring. It was my dad, so I let the call go to voicemail. And when I listened to the message, I was surprised to hear the following message. Amid sobs, "Hi, OP, it's Dad. I wanted to phone and say I'm sorry. I'm just so sad and sorry. I will call you later. Bye."
Whoa, switch up.
Are we getting to the actual
I think maybe.
place?
I think maybe.
We might be getting there. The call was followed up by a text message that said, "Can I call you? I promise I'll be nice." He did call me later on, and I answered. He was crying again and apologized for his behavior. He told me that he was sorry that he reacted the way he did. He admitted that he always reacts with anger first and that he doesn't know why he does it. He said that he will try taking a deep breath or going for a walk and that his anger is something he needs to work on. I told him my reasons for traveling at Christmas, and I also said that I knew my boyfriend wouldn't be welcome to his house for Christmas. His response was, "I wish you would have talked to me first. I'm different around Christmas, and I probably would have let him come." This made me roll my eyes because he truly did not talk to me for 4 months this summer when my boyfriend stayed with me. Even when we were in my hometown one weekend, my dad wouldn't let me visit him if I was bringing my boyfriend along. I understand that Christmas is important to him, but he also has refused to talk to me for a long time. How am I supposed to tell you about it when you literally won't talk to me?
It don't make sense.
I know this is a crazy idea, Sophia.
Yeah.
But in order to talk to you, I need you to talk to me.
No way.
I know.
Crazy,
No.
right?
Look,
Doesn't make sense.
I might just be
Nonsense.
a crazy guy.
Freaking nonsense.
I might be a crazy guy.
He's crazy.
But
Lock him up.
that's how I do it. If I'm talking to you, you got to talk to me, and then we're talking. Not so long ago, I told my dad that I was sorry that I hurt his feelings, but I did not tell him that I would change my plans. I don't feel like I've done anything wrong, and I know that talking to him before this wouldn't have mattered anyways. Even though he now says he would be okay with my boyfriend coming for Christmas, I don't think he would have responded favorably to it. He told me that his feelings are hurt because he believes that Christmas is about family being together and that it won't be the same without me there. Family being together means you don't freaking threaten to steal every single possession someone owns because they don't do what you want. He ended the call by telling me that he loved me and asked if I still loved him too. I talked to my mom this morning. My dad is on a business trip this week, and she said that he was extremely angry on Saturday when I sent the message, but that yesterday he was very sad and crying most of the day and that he hasn't slept. She told me that at his angriest, he admitted that I'd be out of his life if I didn't come home for Christmas. She told me that she responded with, "If you're willing to cut your daughter out of your life, that is your decision. She will not be out of mine." She said that he left a note for my mom saying that she needs to talk to me because our daughter has to be home for Christmas. She told me that she agreed with me that discussing this beforehand would not have mattered. By the way, you know what always matters is that you can find all of the OK Storytime content that your little heart can take. Because if you go to Spotify, Apple, or your favorite podcast app and you search OK Storytime, by gosh, golly darn, you will find 2,500 episodes there to listen to for basically infinity.
That's just the truth of it.
You will basically, if you just spend all of your waking hours listening to us, it's almost impossible to run out of content.
I agree.
I wish other things I listen to had that, but they don't because they don't put in the work. So I definitely hurt my dad's feelings, and I do feel bad about that. At the same time, the comments I read from all of you guys made me feel better. I don't regret my decision because I know that my boyfriend wouldn't have been welcomed regardless of what my dad says now. My mom said caring about family needs to happen all year, not just at Christmas. And I believe that she is right. If anything, this will give him something to think about next year. I knew he would react angrily, but I booked my trip despite that, so I hope he realizes how important my relationship is to me. This probably sounds pathetic, but my actions this past weekend were definitely the ballsiest things I've done in my life. Big props, and don't say, oh, this might sound pathetic. No, absolutely big props to you. Maybe it was so hard because you had a freaking bulldozer of a father that goes crazy every time you're like, oh, hey.
You have a slight change of plans.
Yeah, I have a slight change of plans.
$9,000.
Could I have the last muffin in the thing? Nope.
If you pay me $1 million.
I felt really empowered after talking to him. Yes. I am a pretty emotional person, but I didn't cry when he called, and I'm glad I didn't. It's hard for me to hear my tough guy father cry, but I am glad that I didn't break down too. His actions in the past have dictated my plans, and he needs to realize that I feel like this was my first big step to becoming grown up and to be truly becoming independent, but I know that this will have to be an ongoing thing. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for everything. I'm not sure what will happen in the long run because of this, but I'm going to see my boyfriend. I stood up for myself, and I feel pretty proud of myself, and you freaking should.
Keep standing up for yourself.
Yes.
And your dad is going to realize that you won't back down, and then he's going to start listening to you. Which, I mean, it is proved.
Yes.
You stood up for yourself, and then he was like, oh, wait, I'm sorry. Do you love me still?
Just keep doing it. You OP, you're freaking on it.
Laughing.
Yes. And you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
Truly, truly, truly.
I stepped back from our friendship after she had a date, but she didn't like it.
But you can't have your cake and eat it too.
So I, 26 male, talked to my close friend, 24 female, and suggested we tone back on our hangouts and chats because they told me a couple weeks ago that they have started officially dating someone.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. I'm genuinely happy for her. She told me that they have been seeing each other for 6 months and called it official a month ago.
All right.
Who is this, Keon?
It was like 4 months. Come on.
It's like 4 months.
What are you? Someone that is from LA?
Yeah.
That's how every LA relationship is going.
Okay.
Hey, don't count yourself out of this. Don't count yourself out of this.
I'm not in this yet.
Yes, you are.
By
You
the
are
way-
in this right now.
No, it's not even been a month.
Yeah, it has.
No.
It's been 2 months.
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude.
Time's moving so slow.
By the way, this comes from Hard to Follow, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, now before this, we could talk and hang out pretty often, platonically, at least in my perspective, about a few times a week and almost daily with late night chats, upwards of 3 a.m.
Dude, why are you not with her? If I'm talking to someone till 3 a.m. every night,
Yeah, you're in
We're
love.
banging.
You're in love. I don't talk to anyone until 3 a.m. at night.
actually, I pulled every time I see my boy Rex, we pull all-nighters all the time.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
We have a
pulling
lot to
it
catch up
all-nighters. We've known each other for a few years and met at a doctor's office when she noticed me playing a gotcha game. And we talked and bonded from our mutual love of games and nerdy stuff.
And then you got her.
Now, of course, I think both guys and gals can be great friends with boundaries and lines. However, in my mind, if I was seeing someone, I wouldn't really want them hanging out with and talking nonstop with a guy to this extent, especially if I don't know them.
I like OP's perspective on this, giving the respective
Yeah,
of
OP's the
how
one
that
going
is.
into it with a lot of respect.
I like this.
I think that if OP and his friend had kind of a very not normal friendship, but like they weren't talking until 3 a.m. They were just hanging out a couple times a week and,
Yeah.
normal friendship stuff, then I'd be like, oh, you don't have to cut back on that. But I
Yeah.
understand why he wants to cut back on this stuff.
Agreed. Yeah.
She told me about her relationship a couple weeks ago and mentioned that her boyfriend has gotten a little nosy recently whenever we would text about stuff. I asked her if she told and showed him our chats and stuff. She said no, because she deserves a private life too. Yeah,
Okay.
but you don't necessarily have to approach it from the sense of like, here, you can look through all my stuff so that we trust each other. It can just be like, oh my God, this is what he said. Like, he said this today.
If Angie and I started dating today
Yeah.
and we were hanging out, I'd be like, hey, by the way, one of my close friends is Sophia. This is what I talked about on our first dates. Like, my roommate Sophia, she's awesome. She's great. You'd love her. And I mentioned you in these conversations and would kind of get things rolling on that. So we, and then you guys eventually met. It would be so weird if you guys never met. We work together, hang out, or friends.
No, I
no.
do think it's kind of weird when people don't bring their partners around their friends.
Also, I'm okay with girls having guy friends, but this is like, I'm not okay with girls having guy friends,
Well,
if
this
that makes
is-
sense. You know what you see? Do you kind of see a difference here?
Well, I think there is a difference here because you're staying up until 3 a.m. Like, this is like a very close relationship.
It's kind of dipping into the emotional
It
aspect.
is. I would agree, which OP understands. I completely understand that, but we really only talk about games, movies, comics, etc. It wouldn't hurt to just show him. I suggested it. She again said no, and that he doesn't really like our interests. That's completely fine, and I dropped it. Though after informing her that, from a guy's perspective, talking to a dude, then hiding the conversations and being secretive about it can seem dang sus. As for the boyfriend, I know next to nothing about him. And she always skirted around any details about him. Our mutual friends know about him apparently, though for some reason she always seems to be pretty secretive about it. Sort of feels like I'm just being left in the dark. I have other female friends in relationships, and this was never an issue. According to her, she just doesn't want us to know about each other, as it may start conflicts since she talks to me more often than him. She's also mentioned that she tells him she's hanging out with the girls whenever we'd meet up to hang out. So she's lying. So this is just totally not okay.
No.
She's lying.
No.
Somebody is insecure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why is she lying?
Also, Wrestling Mama says she has a crush on OP. Yeah, why are you
I
not
think
dating
so.
OP?
Well, I think that if she's using you to talk again until 3 a.m. and also lying to her current boyfriend about your guys' relationship and being unwilling to share kind of what you guys are talking about, this is not okay.
Like, for example, my girlfriend has a guy best friend. It's her neighbor that she grew up with all the time. They go out and they talk about things that they have in common, and it's totally cool and fine. But they're not hanging out multiple times a week till 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, they're just like, oh, let's catch up and great.
Yeah.
And I feel like you do need that in a relationship where you're not relying on your partner for all these things.
I absolutely agree.
For guys not to have anything in common,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
gotta be like at least one thing.
Yeah, the boinking. That's all they have in common.
Which is, to me, kind of mean and a bit dishonest. I talked with her further about her relationship, and she's pretty serious about him and loves him. After mulling over it for a few days, I suggested to her that we should probably take a couple steps back and hang out or talk a bit less, because I want her to focus on herself and her relationship.
Gold star for OP.
I do genuinely care for her and want the best to come her way. I also don't really want to be the topic of drama to add to my list of stress. I explained this to her as kindly and as understanding as I could, but she just sort of blew up at me and stormed off. Later on, she sent me a truckload of messages, some sad, some angry, some rude remarks on my looks.
That's probably why she doesn't want to date you, is because you look ugly.
Because you're ugly, dang.
Probably. I mean, the emotional side seems to be there, but she's probably,
Yeah,
but she's probably someone that likes
Yeah.
a physical look too.
Yesterday morning, I woke up to some messages from some mutual friends calling me names and berating me for pushing her away. I'm so confused right now. Last night, she told me she wants to talk today. Our mutual friends also seemed to have stopped the pesterment too. I think I'll meet her again today to see just what is going on. Is there anything I should ask her specifically? I do want us to stay friends, of course, and just want to set some boundaries that we may not have initially established. And there are some comments, but I would be like, hey, why are you talking to our other friend? Like, why are you complaining to our other friends about this?
Mm-hmm.
Could we have that conversation?
And also, I'm doing this for you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to create, I'm kind of trying to save your relationship in the long run.
And she's probably going to everyone
Yeah.
saying, oh my gosh, he doesn't want to talk to me anymore. He hates me. Blah, 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 blah.
It's like,
blah,
that's
blah,
not at
blah.
all what's going on. Why are you being so mean? But there are some comments. Hopefully they'll help OP
Yeah.
figure out what to do.
And some people are saying that the boyfriend's fake.
Oh, to get OP jealous or something?
Ooh, see how he really feels about the
Yeah,
relationship?
get him jealous or rile him up or something like that.
Rile him up.
Blank Lizard says, definitely establish some boundaries. Let her know you don't want any part in her dishonesty with her boyfriend. I think it would probably help all parties if you did meet. Could help put everyone at ease. I think it's a little bizarre that she's keeping you away from him, so I'd definitely ask her why that is. It's also not your job to moderate her relationship with her boyfriend and who she talks to and how often. If boyfriend has a problem with how much she talks to you, that's up to him to bring it up. You sound like a supportive friend. I don't think you're overstepping by maintaining that friendship. That said, if she's being cagey over introducing the two of you for other reasons, that's something you're going to want to find out. Boop, 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 beep. Boop, boop, beep. She's acting weirdly possessive of you. I would never talk to a friend the way she's talking to you. Please think, would you do or say these things to a friend? And if your answer is no, then why are you making excuses for this friend? Because she's never behaved like this before is just your way of trying to minimize the situation. The comments from mutual friends, such as, her boyfriend is better than you, did not just come out of nowhere. She's talking negatively about you to others. There's just a lot of inappropriate behaviors going on here that should not be excused or minimized.
Yeah.
And OP says, yeah, you're probably right. I don't really know what they talk about as I don't appear in our friend group pretty often, so I'm not as tightly interwoven with them as her. I've just been thinking back on a lot of the things and started noticing the small stuff when I was more oblivious at the time. She always did this thing where she would tug on my shirt to get my attention or lightly slap my back when excited. She likes you.
She's in love with you.
She would laugh really hard at dumb jokes.
Oh, dude, she likes you so
she likes
much.
you. Then go really quiet if it seemed like I ignored her when spacing out. When hanging out in group with said mutuals, she'd always be glued to my side, even when I went to talk to some others across the room.
Oh my God, OP, you're so oblivious.
Ooh. She would also interject when any of our female friends came up to talk to me about something and change the subject to something else if she wasn't invested. Thinking on it, it's a tad creepy in a way. Her possessiveness, as you call it, has sort of ramped up since she announced to me that she was in a relationship. One moment that stands out to me now is recently at a party. I jokingly asked her to wingman me tonight, and she vehemently denied it in all seriousness, stating, "None of these girls are good for you, trust me."
There's only one girl good enough for you here.
Why are none of the girls good for OP? Girl?
Because there's only one that is worthy
Yeah, it's her.
of unlocking his chastity belt.
Ew, no. I just shrugged it off. Is she keeping me as a backup or something? I really don't see platonic friendships working like this. Boop Boop Beep says it definitely sounds like she wants to keep you as a backup or
Yep.
just as her guy friend that gives her all the attention she wants
Yep.
without the commitment.
That's what I was about to say.
Yep. Exactly what she wants. Let me ask you this. What do you think will happen to your friendship with her once you have a girlfriend? Do you think she'll be nice? Do you think she'll respect your relationship? Keep in mind, she's not respecting her own relationship. And there is an update 2 days later.
Oh boy, yeah.
This is definitely
OP's finally figuring it out.
this is definitely the girl that has a backup
Mhm.
or another friend that she gets all the attention to. I've seen this happen where this guy and girl will be hanging out. The guy kind of has a crush on her, but she's not. She's just like, oh, we'll just be friends. And the guy's hanging out because he thinks there's still a chance. But then the guy's going out, kind of dating other girls, and that girl gets a little jealous and starts getting a little bit more snappy and spiteful.
Because she doesn't have that attention anymore.
That's who you are, OP, and you've gotten yourself in this slippery slough.
Slippery slope.
Which I think you could, if you like her back, you can definitely get out of this.
But it doesn't seem like OP does. It seems like he just wants friendship. Update 2 days later. So we met a couple days ago and talked at our usual cafe. As soon as I walked in, she seemed really awkward and fidgety. Not a second after I sat down, she blurted out an apology for snapping and storming off, as well as all the things that were said from her and by our mutual friends. I was about to apologize as well. However, she told me I didn't need to apologize for anything, and she had to really tell me something and asked me to just keep an open mind.
Keep an open mind.
I think she's gotta confess. Confused, I nodded. She told me that she wasn't exactly honest with me.
Oh
for
my
a
gosh.
while, and that she's been lying to me. Turns out she never had a boyfriend. You guys were right.
What the heck?
I'm shocked. I was like, no, there's no way. There's no way that she could lie to everyone. Crazy.
She did.
Crazy. No wonder all your guys' friends were like, what? Like,
Well,
OP, why are you switching up? Why are you not being friends with her?
He lives in Canada. He goes to a different school. All the things. He's just not in town right now.
I'm shocked.
That makes no sense. You guys called that. I
didn't believe you guys.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
kind of on the fence about it, but I was more on the no. I was on the no side. I thought he was real. Also, OP never said, I know what his social looks like.
Yeah.
Or I tried to reach out because OP seems like the guy that
OP
would
just
do that.
believed that he existed, so I believed OP.
Again, the thing that really stood out to me is like, I've never met the guy or talked to the guy, and we have nothing in common.
Yeah.
We have
Doesn't
nothing in common.
exist. Yeah,
yeah, guys
Keon
definitely
called
do.
that out. It turns out that she has liked me for a long time now.
I called it.
Well, we all knew that
Come on,
one.
though.
We all knew that
Come
one.
on.
But because of how long we've been friends, she didn't know how to bring it up and instead made a fake boyfriend. Our mutual friends decided to help her out. Everyone was in on this! And cook up a story about her having a boyfriend to test the waters and see if I would be jealous and awaken my feelings and fight for her. This is becoming a TV drama.
Oh my god.
You guys, all of your friends are dumb.
Also,
They probably didn't know to that extent. That, like,
No,
she
they
may-
knew. They cooked up the story.
if she's this crazy
As friends.
as friends, think how crazy it's gonna be under the sheets.
Oh, wait, no. Okay.
Well, I mean, come on, Keon, back me up here.
Don't back him up.
Back me
Keon,
up here.
Don't back him up. Keon, don't back him up.
If they're toxic out here, think about that.
And Ming Ming, I think they're like 25
She could
and
also be a
27.
starfish. Who knows?
No wonder I knew next to nothing about the boyfriend. She was trying to spin the story that she was keeping our friendship a secret as to, in her words, keep the door open for me. She started hinting that her boyfriend started getting nosy and a little jealous of how much we talk as to start stirring the pot with me.
Dude.
However, that had literally the opposite effect. As soon as I started trying to help her fix her boyfriend issue, she thought it was a good sign and we could start broaching the topic of relationships. I know this sounds convoluted as F, and I'm just as confused as y'all are.
You've been watching too much TV,
Mm-hmm.
girl. This is crazy.
You just talk to him. Talk to him. Be an adult.
You know,
Share your feelings.
I like you. Also, OP, how oblivious do you have to be to now understand that that this girl has a crush on you? Like, what?
Come
Talking till
on.
3 o'clock in the morning and you don't even think she has a crush on you?
Literally, I'm like, that was never platonic.
If I ever talk to a girl past 3 o'clock in the morning, it's because I somewhat have a crush on her.
Yes!
Multiple nights in a row or more than one night.
There's no way that you're disrupting your sleep schedule that much unless
Yeah.
you have like some, or at least one person has feelings.
I could probably chat up with Sophia like once till 3 o'clock in the morning. But after that, it wouldn't be multiple nights.
No.
I couldn't do that. I get so bored of her after that.
I would be asleep. I wouldn't be awake.
She'd be like, Riley, I have to go to bed.
I
It's
need
11.
to go to bed. And
Okay.
you'd be like, let's play Red Dead Redemption.
She probably thought, because this girl seems like the type to overthink a bunch and like make this
Yeah.
elaborate plan. The fact that like she's probably like, he doesn't get the hint. Like, I touched his back.
Yeah, I touched his back.
I rubbed his back like multiple times, and I'm like close to him. He should understand. Maybe he just like needs an extra push.
Though from my perspective, she flatly refused any of my suggestions to assuage her imaginary boyfriend's jealousy. So I just suggested to her that we should tone us down a bit. This apparently frustrated her, and that led to her blow up. She vented to her friends, and they pestered me a bit. Idiots. Telling me I'm throwing away something good and all that. That's when some comments from our mutuals started making even more sense.
They're just trying to, wing woman her.
Badly.
You think one of your friends would have been like, "Hey, like low key, this is just because she likes you."
Yeah.
Yeah, also, whatever reality TV show you guys are all watching together on
Stop
Thursday
watching
nights,
it.
pick something else.
They're all watching The Summer I Turned Pretty, and they're getting all of their advice from that show.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to offend you, so I'm glad you said it.
If anyone's getting their relationship advice from The Summer I Turned Pretty, stop.
Or Euphoria.
Stop. Those
No,
shows
no.
are not for relationship advice. It's to point and be like, these people are terrible at relationships. At that point, I just had a blank expression, trying to dismantle the most complicated pickup attempt of my life. So I just asked her, what in her right mind would make this entire setup even remotely work in the real world? Crickets. By the way, there's never crickets when you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime for nonstop entertainment.
Non-stop, never ending.
But there is a little bit left to this story. Yeah, these people are too old to be acting this stupid.
Honestly, this happened to me, and I found her attractive. I'd be down.
Yeah, you'd be like, kind of flattered. You're crazy? Kind of flattered.
I like the intention here. I like the work and effort you
do
put in.
this all for me?
Yeah, that I kind of would in a way.
Wow.
But once we get in that relationship,
You're setting those boundaries.
we're gonna have to get some things.
We're gonna rework some stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna rewire some brain.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Poll, do you think that OP's going to go for this?
Oh.
No,
I think no.
I don't think so.
I think no. Yeah, Poll.
Because never
does this
did we
work.
once hear him say,
I like her. But maybe.
she's pretty.
But
this,
maybe
that.
maybe it's like a switcheroo, where he's like, he realizes
Uh-huh.
after.
Tell me.
Like he realizes out of nowhere, he was like, I didn't even consider her before because she had a boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
But now I realize she doesn't. I actually do like her.
Oh, and that there could be something there because they're no longer dating someone.
Everyone saw something there.
Yeah. Everyone saw something there except for OP.
Except for OP.
That's crazy.
Wow. But then OP needed to come to his own consensus about it
Exactly.
after they were broken up. So then he was like, oh, wow, this actually might be something.
And OP was like, maybe? I think I like this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense for OP.
Yeah.
She just apologized again for all this drama and was bold enough to ask if we can be an item or, at the very least, go back to how things were.
I don't.
Ooh, We're not very split, but we got 3 votes yes, 9 votes no. At this point, I just felt a rolling headache and was still processing everything. Still am, really. I just told her I need some space for now to consider this fiasco. Here I am now. I'm probably not gonna date her.
No! OP for love!
Love! I thought she'd known me long enough that she could have just asked me to my face and I would have given it serious consideration. Now, I don't think so. I'm still going through with it and taking a step back from all of this. including the mutuals. Thanks for reading, guys. It seems like OP's no.
OP is definitely not physically attracted to her. Because if he was, he would definitely make it happen. Because the emotional aspect is there.
Yeah, we know they have emotional connection.
All you got to do is be like, I find you spicily, like, looking good. And let's talk together and all that stuff. Can't fix crazy. No, but you can sure have fun with it.
Ew. We've got another story, folks, because that one's over. I want my family out of my house, even though I invited them first.
You are allowed to change your mind.
My spouse and I made a major lifestyle shift last year. We were both burned out. He left a high-paying but demanding job to spend more time with our kids. And I work from home while also homeschooling. We sold our house to downsize and reduced expenses so we could focus on family and mental health. By the way, this comes from Apples and Oranges 987. And if you want to submit your own story, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, around this time, a close family member, single parent of multiple kids, was also in a tough spot financially and emotionally. She's never had stable income or a traditional 9-to-5 lifestyle. She wanted to live simply and independently, and we shared a dream of creating a kind of community. Shared lands for her and her kids, and mutual support. We found a rent house with a separate garage apartment. She moved in and contributes a small portion of rent and utilities, which doesn't fully cover her usage. But we agreed to it to help her get stable. The apartment is set up with a functional kitchen, and instead of slowly moving in and setting it up, she brought everything from her storage unit all at once. She previously lived in a 3-2 home, but is now in a 1-1 apartment with 4 people, so it's a lot. There's no room to move, much less install the fridge we offered. As a result, she and my nieces use our house daily for many meals, laundry, and most daily living, then usually camp out for the day. She never intended to share a living space like this long term, and she previously agreed a shared kitchen wouldn't work. Now, months later, it's become the default. I'm autistic, and I rely on structure, private time, and order to stay regulated, but her lifestyle is the opposite. Free-flowing, a little routine, and very social. I've been quietly burning out, trying to make it all work while still maintaining my job, household, and homeschool schedule. We tried setting a shared meal schedule, but I'm still doing the majority of cleanup and kitchen labor. She hasn't been making progress towards independence. The kitchen is still non-functional. It's hard to get good airflow because of all that stuff. And she has a dog and cat inside, and we feel stuck. My spouse and I are the only ones initiating conversation or change, and I feel deeply misunderstood. Like I'm the problem for needing privacy, structure, and space. Their family dynamic is more of sweep things under the rug and deal with it, while I'm more vocal. He doesn't like the arrangement so far either, but he does feel a duty as her big brother to just take care of everything. She and I used to be emotionally close, but that connection feels broken, and I don't trust there's room for honesty without conflict or defensiveness. We've decided that my spouse should have a one-on-one conversation with her to gently and curiously open up about how this is affecting everyone. I don't feel safe or ready to be part of that conversation yet, and I'm trying to emotionally and practically survive until it happens. It feels like she's assumed this arrangement could go on forever, but I can't function this way anymore. Am I the a-hole for pulling back and preparing to set firm boundaries, even if it changes or damages our relationship? Comments. Comment 1. Always remember this. Never burn yourself to warm others, because that's the exact situation you are in right now. It's okay to break a relationship, then that's breaking yourself. Take a stand. OP says, I've always been told that you can't do this to family. Comment 2 says, you can't expect a person who can't get their life together to be a reliable and stable partner in building community and sharing responsibilities. OP says, unfortunately, I didn't know her day-to-day life was like this before. She was living with my mother-in-law, and we got into a habit of having Sundays as family hangout days. Those days were glorious. The kids would play, the adults would dream and plan for the future. Everyone participated in cooking and cleaning, and she was motivated to change her situation. Comment 3 says, nope, not the a-hole. You know what you need, and your spouse is willing to get it for you. Your sister-in-law should modify her behavior and that of her kids to keep everyone's peace. She for sure needs to donate or sell off a lot of her items to make space for her children. Can you lock the door to their intrusions? I'm being serious. If you have to, for the sake of your sanity, can you come up with a cleanup schedule? If it's her mess, then she should clean it. Ideally, she should get a storage locker for all her extra stuff and get her kitchen set up. Maybe then you can keep them out of your space. Shouldn't tolerate any foot dragging on this point, since it's the root cause of a lot of your problem. Opie says, yeah, these are the hard things. We knew she only has so much income, so we really talked the detail of it before, but not so much since. I'm assuming she's moved all of her stuff from her storage unit at first to get rid of the monthly bill. But I'm not sure, so I don't know if she can afford another one. We discussed beforehand that sharing a kitchen would not be ideal, but here we are. I thought we would share the kitchen for a week or two tops while she got everything in order, but she moved in the middle of March. I have talked to her in person and through text about our space and set up a shared meal calendar that gives my family complete days without having to do shared meals. But she always needs something in the house. Needs to cook something, grab something they left, work on a project that there is no room for in their space, etc. So yes, I locked the door, but we're still going to get anywhere from 1 to 5 texts a day asking if they can come over for something. I feel really petty reading my words, honestly, but I don't feel petty. And there is an update, folks, but do you have any thoughts?
I mean, no, she's driving you nuts. We need to. It's exactly what you said. We just need to set that boundary and get her out.
Get her out. Get her out. You don't deserve this.
And you
She
can't
does
feel
not
bad
have
if
any
she doesn't
right.
have it.
No, that's on her. She had all
Had
this time. She had
You saved
all
her
this
so
time.
much money with her getting her
much.
stuff out of the storage unit.
Yeah, truly. And if she has not, adequately prepared herself, that's on her. I posted this Friday night, and with the weekend, he hasn't had a chance to be alone to talk with my sister-in-law, so conversation is still to come. However, her attitude and body language is definitely oozing that she's very upset and frustrated, especially with me from the coldness she's giving me. I don't know what motivated her, but today she made space for the fridge and they went and got it. I do not think that this is a sufficient fix for what has been going on. So my husband is still going to talk with her and clear the air. We will definitely be more protective of our time, energy, and space. And if this continues to not work and feel like an uphill battle, then we'll have to go our separate ways at the end of this lease. And there is a second update. They escalated. The tension never really settled, and a Sunday dinner became the breaking point. Right before this dinner, she spent about 5 days avoiding us because I told her no about something. In her anger, annoyance, whatever, she finally got her apartment in order enough for us to get the fridge for us. After the dinner, our first time to really see her and her kids in days, my sister-in-law texted to say she no longer wanted to follow my meal schedule, which I had only created to help us all plan and prep more easily, and that she didn't want to be around me when I looked annoyed. I will admit that I probably had body language because she came in and was visibly upset and ignoring everyone, including my kids. That text led to a back and forth conversation, which ended with a 9-minute voice note where she vented her frustrations. It was emotionally heavy, and though it wasn't outright cruel, it centered her perspective without acknowledging ours and putting blame on me that is unwarranted. Also, to add, this text conversation was between my husband and her. She completely left me out of the text thread. That's when something shifted in me. I realized I had been tiptoeing for too long, thanks to everyone's comments on the original post, trying to be helpful, thoughtful, avoidant of conflict, hoping things would smooth out on their own. But the truth is, I had been overriding my own needs. I didn't feel seen like y'all were able to point out, and my boundaries were becoming unsustainable. But you know what's always sustainable? Listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. I've since found my confidence. That doesn't mean I'm angry or shutting the door completely. In fact, I still acknowledged her birthday and did so with kindness. But I'm no longer chasing peace at the cost of my own wellness. My husband and I are united in this now. We're being thoughtful and calm, but clear. The next step is still a one-on-one conversation between him and her to directly address everything. But for the time being, she is not dependent upon our house for her daily needs and wants. I want to stay kind. I want things to feel mutual and respectful. But I also want to be honest that I can't keep stretching myself thin to avoid discomfort. That's not peace. That's just people pleasing in disguise. Thanks for sticking with me through this and taking the time to comment and converse with me. I appreciate you all. And folks, that is the end of that story.
Good on you.
I think OP is on the right track. Yeah. I think you know what you need to do and just keep trusting yourself.
Got it.
Sticking up for yourself and don't let anyone walk over you.
Yeah.
But folks, that is the end of that story.
My stepmother got pregnant. Now I plan to move out.
There's no room.
I, 24 female, still live with my dad and grandma. Typical Asian family setup. My parents divorced when I was 3, and I lived with my mom until I was 16. From around age 11 to 12, I was basically living alone. My mom worked as a teacher in the city, but also started a small salon business in the province, so she was constantly back and forth. I only saw her 1 to 2 days a week, but she always left food and money for me. By the way, this comes from a username on the r/Charlotte Dober YouTube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Angie.
And I'm Sophia.
And OP says, during this time, I didn't have a real father figure. I saw my dad maybe once or twice a month. He didn't really know I was living alone like that. By the time I was a teen, I developed this mindset like, you don't get to show love now when I needed it most back then. And it still stuck with me until now. My father and I don't have a strong bond or close relationship. We barely talk even while living in the same house. The only person I really talk to is my grandma. I don't care much about his life and never had the desire to build a father-daughter relationship. This is how I got to live with him. At 16, my mom had financial issues and couldn't support me properly anymore. She asked me to ask my dad and grandma if I could move in with them. I've been living with them ever since. So fast forward to 2023, my dad finally married the woman he's been with for 10 years.
Dang.
His, quote, love of his life. He waited that long because he wanted me to finish high school. He's the calm, passive type who doesn't interfere much with anything. Very typical Asian dad. My stepmom is the complete opposite. She's loud, often yells when she gets wasted, and loves to party.
Oh.
She's usually the one who starts the arguments. They usually get invited by the neighbor to parties, even on Tuesday nights. A few months ago, out of nowhere, my stepmom started talking to me about going to the pagoda to pray for a child. She said it's been 2 years and she still hasn't gotten pregnant. She kept going and said that they were still trying for a child. I didn't really want to hear this part, so I just sat there nodding and giving polite responses like, Then she asked for my opinion. I said, well, that's your life. Not really my business, but I suggest getting a job and saving up some money. Also, at that time, I'll probably move out. She immediately replied, your father won't let you. And I replied, he can't stop me if I wanted to.
OP's an adult.
Yeah,
Can't
what?
Just not let her move out.
Yeah, what does that mean? That conversation really made me start thinking about saving up and planning to move out. Jump to August 3rd. I was alone in the kitchen when she came up to me and said, I have good news. I already knew what it was. She's pregnant. I congratulated her and asked how far along. She said 2 months. Then she said, please don't tell your grandma, your aunt, or anyone yet. I said, okay. Then she continued, you don't have to move out. Your dad doesn't want you to, and your grandma will blame me if you do. This is weird. The thing is, I want to move out because I want my own space. I can afford it and I can take care of myself, and I've always dreamed of living alone again like when I was young. I grew up in a different mindset, shaped by being independent at a young age. I truly appreciate having a roof over my head all these years, but I simply don't want to live with them anymore. There was even one time they got into a wasted argument that turned really bad. She was screaming so loud and it traumatized me. That was a turning point for me. At that moment, I realized if I stay, she'll just see me as proof to my grandma that she's not the reason I left. My grandma already doesn't fully support their marriage. The reason she doesn't want my grandma to know about the pregnancy yet is that my grandma is not going to be happy about it. My dad's income is around $500 plus a month and will retire in 8 years. Once retired, his income will probably drop to $300 a month or less. My stepmom doesn't have a job.
That's crazy.
Yeah. A bit more about her. She used to sing at restaurants and events, probably how she met my dad. Before the wedding, my grandma asked her to quit because it wasn't considered a respectable job. My dad didn't defend her or say anything. This is where I find my grandma and my dad might be the a-hole here. After they got married, they tried working at a printing shop, but quit within days, saying it was too hot. She then tried starting a meatball business twice and failed both times.
What?
What's a meatball business?
I was assuming she's selling meatballs.
But that's so random. So now she's unemployed and expecting a baby. I don't want to be stuck in this household when things are clearly going to get more stressful. I want my own space. Raising a child is so expensive if you only have one income and in the future don't want to be expected to give money or allowance to a child that isn't mine. I have my own life to live. I want to leave and focus on myself, not on her kid. I want to move out, not out of hate or resentment, but to build a life of my own. So would I be the a-hole? And there is an update, but what do you think?
No, get out of there.
No, not at all.
They're absolutely going to expect you to pay. Get out of there.
For sure. Expect you to pay, expect you to feed the baby,
Babysit.
take care of it, all that kind of stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, how about I just leave and don't eat your guys'
How
food?
about just peace out?
But there is an update. So, hi again, everyone. I wanted to thank you all for your comments and support on my last post. This is the first time I've ever had a serious conversation and opened up to my family. And it was hard as an Asian daughter/granddaughter. I ended up in tears from recalling the memories of my childhood, but it gave me the courage to speak up and take action. On August 5th, I talked to my grandma and my aunt, who now knows about my stepmom's pregnancy. I also opened up to them about how lonely and upset I felt during my younger years, growing up mostly on my own and not feeling much emotional support. They both want me to stay and asked me to reconsider my decision. My grandma kept asking me why I wanted to move out, and I told her I just want to walk a new path in my life and live on my own. I haven't told her about the pregnancy yet. I will talk to my dad tomorrow as I can't do it anymore for today. During the conversation, my grandma hit me with, "Why would you do this? Don't you love me? I'm only living here because of you. If you move, I'll move too," with her and my aunt. Dang. She went on with many more similar words, blaming me for wanting to leave and trying to make me feel guilty. But honestly, that didn't really work on me. I understand where she's coming from, but I also know that I need to do what's right for me.
Yes.
I forgot to mention, I have two sisters. They both grew up with my dad's side of the family. It was a big household since they lived at my grandma/aunt's place with about 7 to 8 family members under one roof. My sisters used to go back and forth between that house and mine. They also knew that sometimes I was living alone when I was younger. One of my sisters, the first, is living abroad, and another, the second, is living with us. She's a hoarder and has been dealing with depression, though her condition has been getting better. Unfortunately, my grandma doesn't understand mental health very well. Every time they talk, she says, "I don't understand you. Why are you doing this to me? I'm only doing it because I care about you." Instead of trying to understand her, my grandma often labels her as a trouble child and tells everyone, including our neighbors, about her behavior.
Oh my goodness.
It's really disheartening. She tries to guilt trip her too, but that method doesn't work on my sister either. I'm really proud of my sister for standing up for herself despite all of that.
Good.
I might look cold-hearted to them at this point, but I know I've made up my mind. I will not stay there. I'll visit them often after work or on the weekends. I admit it does hurt seeing my dad become a, quote, better man for someone else when I've never got that version of him when I was young. Some of the comments asked if I could move in with my mom. The answer is no. She's living in the province and has abandoned city life since opening her small salon business. She's living alone with my sisters, the first ones, cats. And she still lives paycheck to paycheck, but my sisters and I help her every month with rent and bills. And by the way, you can help us every day by listening to more full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search Showcase Storytime. You can help us out a whole lot.
Do it.
And there is a little bit more to the story, but yeah.
I mean, just don't listen to your grandma trying to guilt trip you.
Honestly.
Stay the course.
Yeah.
You've got this.
But there is a little bit more. About finding a place, I actually already have one. I've been renting it for a while now as a way to escape the house from time to time. I've slowly started buying things to fill it in, like plates, an electric kettle, and a dish rack. Right now, I just need some cooking utensils, a rice cooker, a fridge, and a few other essentials.
You need the rice cooker.
That's
I agree.
very
that
important.
is an essential.
The rent is quite cheap, and my partner is kindly helping cover 50% of it. Wow. And no, I can't move in with my partner yet because in our culture, you wait until marriage to live together. We're planning and saving for that, hopefully in 2027 or sometime after. I'm doing this not out of hate or resentment, but because I want to build a life of my own.
Because you're an adult.
Yeah.
It's so clearly not out of any hate or something
No.
about them.
Yeah.
You're an adult and you're moving out of home. That's it.
Exactly. I'll be moving out by the end of December or early January. That's great. That's the end of that
love
story.
that.
Yeah, it sucks to have like so much like
pushback.
Yeah, from family members and stuff, especially with the guilt tripping stuff. But I'm glad that you're not falling for it, and I'm glad that you're just gonna do your own thing anyway.
Like, okay, Grandma, bye.
Yeah.
I asked my daughter for another chance, but she won't give in.
No.
Trigger warning, mentions of verbal abuse. I'm a father of 4, 3 girls and 1 boy, and I have a very complicated relationship with my youngest daughter, Maddie. To summarize the best I am able, her mother and I have been through a lot while she was growing up. Her mother has bipolar depression, and from when Maddie was about 5 to 11, either was not properly medicated or did not take her meds. By the way, this comes from Swimming Archer 3627, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. As a side note, I have autism, and I have just now recently come to accept this fact. It has truly limited my ability to communicate. I traveled for work on the weekdays, so I was not home to help care for my 4 kids. This unfortunately resulted in a lot of traumatic events that I wish did not occur. Her mental health made our relationship extremely strained, and Maddie was exposed to a lot of arguments and bitter fights between us. I do admit that we fought more than was healthy, and she saw a few times talks of divorce. We moved twice before Maddie was 15 as a result of my wife's mental outbursts. Which event, though, was when I found out my wife emotionally cheated on me with a coworker. I was so angry, and I admit that I took it out upon my daughters and son for the next 4 years. I do think, though, that this was a better solution than the alternative, leaving them. In short, these tensions produced a lot of bad environments for Maddie and her siblings, resulting in bitterness and anger. The issue is now that Maddie is 20, and she has grown extremely angry about her upbringing. She's home for the summer and she treats us horribly most of the time we are around her. It's quite honestly like we are walking on eggshells with her. She constantly brings up traumatic events she went through while my wife was mentally ill, such as my wife threatening self-harm, or the trauma she suffered from my yelling throughout the years. I am not saying she cannot bring this up, but my wife and I have undergone 3 years of therapy to fix our relationship, and we have moved so far past her childhood and teen years. This all came to a head 3 days ago when Maddie told us that she did not feel like we listened to her. She was psychoanalyzing the way I replied to certain things as if she was justifying why she felt unseen. I told her that she just missed her college friends and that we aren't a substitute for it. She denied it, and she started to speak about the last year and how she felt unseen. I was honestly fed up because we have been trying our best to form a new relationship with her after her childhood, and I told her it was BS.
Oh, God.
This led to a huge fight where Maddie claimed that we mistreated her entire life through verbal abuse and also being exposed to wife's mental health. She claims that I was not healthy and treated them poorly, despite the fact that she was better off than 90% of kids financially.
Oh, boy.
You had food on your table. Who cares if I was screaming at you and telling you that I was divorcing your mom? I understand where she's coming from, and I apologize to her for it, but I told her that I will not beg for her forgiveness.
Oh, God.
I admitted to some of the verbal abuse, but I refused to sit there and say she was mistreated for her entire life. She got really upset at this and began to yell and cry. I told her that she was not recognizing that she also made mistakes when she was growing up.
No.
You, child, when you were 11, you made a mistake. I, the adult, recognized that you, at 11 years old, made mistakes. She was a freaking child, and she yelled that even if she did, she was a minor and was not responsible, as I was the parent. At this point, I asked her to do family therapy, and she refused on the basis that she was a kid. My wife turned her private therapy sessions into family therapy. She would talk to her therapist about her behavior and try to fix the relationship. It was meant to be helpful, but Maddie didn't see it that way and then stole her therapist when she was 11, as my wife begged Maddie to see the same therapist as her, despite her initial refusal. I was done with her targeting my wife, who at the time was extremely mentally unwell. Has anything changed?
I've done years of work.
I told her that she could take her ire out on me, not my wife. I don't think my wife is to blame. You'd be wrong. And I told her that it was like blaming her trauma on something that happened in childhood.
Who would ever?
This has to be rage bait.
What a
dude.
ridiculous
What a recent
idea of something in your childhood being traumatizing. That's impossible.
Eventually, she has to grow up and face the facts of an adult relationship. She told me that she was unable to move on from what she suffered and then began to list even more events of hers, such as times that I yelled at her or my wife did. She cited the lack of support and criticism in her current major as a reason of abuse. I responded that, well, yeah, I wasn't supportive of her decision and I was very critical. For the last 2 years, we have supported her. I told her again we could do therapy, which she refused. I was done playing this game.
Oh,
What
no.
game? And I told her that either she can give us a chance or we can have a strictly cordial relationship because there was nowhere else to go. She can't keep treating us like her old 1-2 bags. She told me that she doesn't know what else to do because if I couldn't admit she was mistreated her whole life, not just only a few moments, she can't move on. I told her I wouldn't lie or beg to her. Maddie then told us that we can keep a specifically neutral relationship moving on, and then she told my wife she wouldn't be going to a planned movie with her tomorrow due to this. My wife broke down, and I was so angry at Maddie. I asked why she would do that, but Maddie responded that she was doing what I asked her to do. But this isn't what I wanted. She asked her mother if she was hurting her, and I told her that she was. She looked shocked, but left. I tried to console my wife, but it took a good 30 minutes. I'm at a loss on what to do now. We saw each other today, but we didn't say a word to each other. She claims she wants a relationship, but either can't right now or not under these conditions. I'm sorry to say, but I'm far past justifying her behavior towards my wife, who was mentally ill, and myself, who suffered from anger and autism that I couldn't control. I truly tried to explain to her regarding the latter point, but she said that it wasn't a justification for the way I treated her. I do admit there were some verbal issues, but honestly, that's just parenting. I apologized to her. And I can't change the past. Am I the a-hole? There's an edit. But John, tell him. Tell him, John. Tell
God,
him.
there's so many things, but you know
Tell
what?
him, John.
You know what I'll boil it down
Tell
to?
him.
Teacup, my actions happen to me.
Oh!
Shock.
What I will boil it down to is you keep saying like, oh, I listened and I acknowledged and I admitted these things. You have not, your daughter does not feel 1 ounce, 1 iota of being seen or heard at all in the slightest.
This is you guys. Daughter, I swear I'm seeing you.
You look great.
You
Yeah,
don't see anything.
I see it all.
You're
You,
blind.
you literally can't see anything.
Is this Bird Box? Because you're freaking blind.
Wow, great reference.
Thanks.
But yeah, I mean, this man literally, whatever therapy he did, he should get a refund because this is not it, my guy.
I want to know what he learned.
Nothing.
Yeah,
His
like
therapist said, hey,
your daughter
you should
sucks.
Apologize. Well, I feel like his therapist was probably like, you should probably like try and have a relationship with your daughter, apologize for all the things that you did. And he said,
I hear
And-
you, but that's not right. So
And he's like, well, I went to therapy, so I did it.
He was
You don't
probably in
have
the
to
parking
listen to
lot.
everything your therapist
he was in the
says.
parking lot for the therapist.
Yeah, he was
I
like,
said sorry, so I'm done.
so I'm done.
The end.
Edit. I apologize if this sounds fake, but I want to assure you that it's not. I do not know what to do anymore with her. I know that's true. And I'm looking for serious advice. Additionally, I want to put out there that I have acknowledged the abuse she suffered, as I am not blind to my faults that we both committed. The issue becomes is her claiming that her entire life was abused. We did the best we could while dealing with our other emotional issues. I love daughter, and I have done the best I could by her for the past 3 years in my support of her financially. She won't let us touch her, and she snaps every time we speak to her. I do not need her to be better now. I just want a chance to show her that we've changed. I'm not the man I was. She told me that she can't be the little girl that I want her to be, and I tried to tell her that I don't want her to be anyone else, but the smart woman she is now. She told me that I was lying. Edit 2. I forgot to mention the fact that I told her I would wait for her to come to us with what she wants from the relationship. I also want to place clarification upon what began this argument. She is a pianist and gave a speech about her time in school and how she did not feel seen by her professors and found someone she likes here. And then she ended it by asking me to pay for her lessons from a teacher that were $70 an hour. I told her I was already paying for summer classes, but then I agreed to pay for 3 lessons. She told me that she was hurt I didn't acknowledge her issues within school and only focused on the monetary issue. Edit 3. Hello, this is the last update I'll make because I feel like I'm just making it all the more complex. I just want to give some context to Maddie's teenage years.
Here we go.
Anger is not a new thing, for we had so many arguments when she was a teen. She would scream and act out with little ignition, or even if someone told her hello, she would snap and mouth off at us. She drove off for hours after these fights, especially when I tried to tell her the way she was treating us was not healthy, and that we can discuss this productively and try to work it out. Our relationship is not as simple or easy to say one way or the other. Both have done each other wrong. I wish I could take it all back. And there is an update. My daughter has found this post and posted her own version. I respect her and her side of things, but those messaging me claiming that it's me within another account, it's not. I'm not responsible for her posts, and she's warranted to express herself in any capacity she feels she must. Comment 1. You're the a-hole.
Yes.
Short version, just because you and your wife have moved so far past her childhood and teen years doesn't mean she has. She's just now getting a chance to process the crap show that it was her childhood. Suck it up and accept that she still needs to deal with what you've done to her. And F you for saying that verbal abuse is just parenting. You're a piece of crap, regardless of your neurodiversity. But you know what's never crappy? Listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But that's it. OP, you're a bad dad.
Yes.
That's kind of my thought on that.
Insanely infuriating. Your heart is closed.
Yeah.
And your daughter is really trying
Trying
to show
get
you,
to see.
to get you to see, and you have not listened to her or ever in this whole thing, and it
Nope.
seems like in her life,
Ever.
actually respected her.
Nope. I skipped my brother's wedding because I wasn't invited to the engagement party.
Well, that's interesting.
I, 28 male, have a twin brother. Growing up, we were inseparable, and until recently, I thought we were still very close. I was always more of a shy nerd, and he was an extrovert that played sports throughout our childhood and high school. But we spent almost all of our time together by choice. By the way, this comes from the Juggernaut Slow 4213. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, we went our separate ways when college came. He stayed local in Arizona, and I went to college in Portland. When I graduated, I stayed there because I fell in love with the city. My friends are here, my professional networks from internships were here, etc. But I always flew back home for holidays, events, birthdays, etc. My brother announced on Instagram that he and his girlfriend of 3 years got engaged. I was incredibly happy for him and texted him congrats. He mentioned they were planning to have an engagement party in 6 to 8 weeks, and I told him to let me know so I can book a flight to come celebrate. I was never told a date. If I brought it up with him or anyone in my family, they'd change the subject or say it's still being planned and confirmed. After a few weeks, I texted my brother to ask about the date because it must be getting close and I don't want to pay for a last-minute flight. No response. I asked my mom for details and she said it's not really an engagement party, just a small dinner with family. There's no need to come down for it. OP is family. That's her brother. I eventually found out that it was, in fact, a big party. They rented out an entire restaurant for 4 hours, and there were about 80 guests. Dang.
That's not tiny.
Dang.
And also, Riley had to pee.
Oh.
Tinkle man.
Family, friends, cousins, everyone.
To be fair, this is now makes a lot more sense why you would skip the wedding because you didn't go to the engagement party because they lied to you about it.
They lied.
Yeah.
Ah, boy. Everyone was told I couldn't make it. My aunt, who was like a second mother to me, texted me that she was very disappointed I couldn't make time to join, and I replied that I would have happily come, but I was not invited. Yeah. Word spread quickly about my snub, and my parents and brother tried to say it was just a misunderstanding. How? Because you asked about it. You said, hey, is there a party happening? And they said, no. It's nothing. Don't come.
Do not come.
Yeah. That was
Do not
almost
come.
over a year ago. Since then, I've tried to get to the bottom of why I wasn't invited. Over the course of months, it went from, it was just meant to be a small gathering, to, I don't know what happened. There must have been a miscommunication, to, it's just a party. It's no big deal. I asked my brother if he was mad at me. I thought maybe his fiance didn't like me. Even if she or he didn't want me there, why were my parents okay with this? This really wasn't like them. Christmas and Easter was as awkward as heck because no one but me wanted to address the elephant in the room, and any conversation about anything was like small talk with strangers.
Come on, man. Like, really? Like, you literally go out of your way to be like, don't even come down. It's just a small thing. You lied because you were like, I mean, I don't want to tell you that it's a big thing that you're the only one basically being excluded from, so I'm going to lie to you and say that it's not anything, so...
And Opie's like, I just want to talk about it. I literally just want to talk
Yeah,
about it. If you were mad at me, just tell me.
I want to get to the bottom of this. Come on.
When I visited in May for my sister's birthday, I left early after my sister said, you moved so far away, it's like you're not really family anymore. Huh?
That's crazy.
Huh?
I didn't know there was a physical distance attached to literal family ties.
You make everything feel so weird now. 9 months ago, I got the save the date announcement, and 6 months ago, I got the invitation to the wedding. I wasn't asked to be in the wedding party, which is fine and wasn't surprising at the point. My sister and younger brother were asked to be in the wedding party, so another snub. I also didn't get a +1 for my girlfriend I've been seeing for almost a year and a half. My sister, however, got a +1 for her friends with benefits. Well, so I decided I wasn't welcome, and I was probably only invited for optics and to play Happy Family. I didn't RSVP, no, since I knew that would cause a crap show. I just didn't go. The wedding was this past weekend. No one contacted me about missing the rehearsal dinner, so I guess even if I did go, I wasn't invited to that either or expected to be there. I started getting calls and texts about an hour before the ceremony asking where I was, if my flight was delayed, how far along I will be, etc. And I ignored them. They stopped for a while during the ceremony but started up again right after. I finally picked up my mom's call and she screamed, "Where the heck are you?" In reply, I said, "In Portland, where you all prefer me to be." She said, "This is your brother's wedding. How could you embarrass us?" I answered, "Just a party. It's no big deal, right?"
Yeah, I mean, soak it up.
It was
Soak it up.
probably the first time in my life my mother was speechless. A few seconds of silence. I said, "Tell everyone I said hi," and I hung up. Now I'm getting calls and texts from everyone saying I was being petty and ruined the day. So am I the a-hole here? I feel like I'm just matching their energy and dropping the rope. Consensus, not the a-hole. So much so that I had to dig for the "you're the a-hole" comments, which mostly consisted of the fact that it's poor form to not RSVP or that OP must have excluded some vital information to make themselves look innocent. And we've got some more comments by OP, but do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the engagement party being like lied about is fun. I just want to know
It's just all
whose
the
idea,
lies.
whose point is this?
Yeah.
Is it like your brother's fiance who doesn't like you? Is it your brother? Why can't anyone just like tell you what was up? Is there something?
It seems like they really don't care about you being at any of these things. They just don't like when people call them out for you not being
It's
there.
like, how far away is Portland from where they are
It's a flight away.
for the engagement dinner? It's like, I can
But to
see
not
being like,
be invited and then to say it's going to be a small thing.
true, but it's like
OP is
that
not-
can also come from like, we don't want to make you feel like you have to buy a plane ticket to go to dinner. And also, we don't want to make you feel like you're missing out. So I'm going to tell you it's small. Because there's literally no communication going on here, there is no way to know what the intent was. And until I knew that intent, I probably wouldn't have gone out of my way to like, because, I know you're like, I didn't want to RSVP no because it'd be a crap show, but you knew you weren't going to show up and you knew it would be a crap show regardless. So I think I would have dug way harder. I would not have let them get away with, "No, what are you talking about?" I'd be like, "Just let me, what's going on?" And if they told me like, "We just didn't want you to feel like you had to be there because it's like, we didn't want to feel like we were forcing you," then that's that. I don't know. It's hard. Why would they be so malicious? That's what I need to know.
Yeah, and that's, I think, what OP is wondering. Some of the comments by OP. I really do feel like they've been icing me out for at least the past year. Probably started long before that, but I just didn't realize it. Honestly, I was going to suggest family therapy, but I'm not sure that'll even work or if I want anything out of that. Thinking about the last few years, it feels like any contact was always initiated by me. The flights aren't very long, 2.5 hours, and between holidays and birthdays and other celebrations, I'm back in Phoenix almost every month. So it's Portland to Phoenix.
Okay,
that's not
that
long.
far.
That's not far enough to be
West
like,
Coast.
that's not far
Yeah.
enough to be like, "Oh, I didn't want to bother you." It's not like I moved to another country and they haven't seen me in years. If anyone was just like, "Hey, it feels like we've lost touch, so just a heads up, you may not be as involved as others," would have been fine. You were only re-invited to the wedding so you could sit there like a prop while everyone clinked glasses and said, "Look at our perfect family," says one user. And OP says, "One of my cousins who's on my side actually told me that I wasn't even placed at the family table because there wasn't any room to fit me in there. So even if I went, I would have been some random guest. My extended family on both sides are no more than a 30-minute drive away from each other. I was expected to come back home after I graduated, and the guilt trips when I told everyone I was staying where I established myself almost made me change my mind and move back. I always thought we stayed close. He'd visit me about every year for a week since I graduated. We may not have chatted or texted every day, but we kept each other abreast of what's going on in our lives. We may not text for 2 to 3 weeks, but when we did, there'd be an hour of texting back and forth and inside jokes. I'd travel back home about 10 times a year, so I met his now wife, and I thought we got along too. No change in politics as far as I can tell, no MAGAization or anything like that. My dad is a lifelong Republican, my mom a Democrat, and my siblings and I are all still pretty liberal. No real change there, and no shifts noted from any posts on social media. My brother has visited about 5 times. My sister lived with me one summer for an internship here. My cousin, who is totally on my side, lived with me and 2 of my friends in a 4-bedroom, of course. For 2 years after she transferred to the college I went to and finished her degree here. My parents visited twice during college, and my little brother has no interest. He went to a party school, but ceased get degrees. From what I know, he likes his job and makes a decent wage. I make a surprisingly good wage, which allows me to visit home regularly. Or allowed me to visit home often, but I doubt I'll be traveling there anytime in the near future.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't bully him. He would have whooped my butt. No change in politics from what I could see. Literally everyone in my family, parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, live a 30-minute drive from each other. I'm the only one that's moved away. But I visit almost on a monthly basis to keep connected. I probably make the most of all my siblings, so I've gifted money in the past. Mostly because I know it's a waste to loan to family. I feel like I give 110% to receive 70% back.
You're in an unwinnable situation. I'm starting to see it now.
Yep.
It's like you go to Portland and you come visit and you bring your big Portland money and they're like, oh, big Portland man thinks he's so much better than us with his Portland money.
Wouldn't stay in Arizona.
If you didn't do that and you just stayed in Portland, they'd be like, oh, big Portland boy is too good to go see his family with his Portland vibes.
Doesn't share his Portland money.
Just stay in Portland, Richie Rich.
My last visit was in May for my sister's birthday. I will not be visiting until after a few weeks after my cousin, whom I'm still close to, gives birth in January. And even then, it'll probably just be to see her only. About OP's partner, honestly, my family loves her, or at least they say they do. She came with me for Christmas, and my mother pulled me aside and said I finally found someone who can put up with me and she can stop worrying about my future now.
Okay, that's a weird way to put that, I guess, but it could be cute if you're being cheeky.
My girlfriend was cool with there being no +1 and said it's getting more common to only give +1s to engaged or married couples since the bride and groom don't want some rando they never see again in their photos if the relationship doesn't work out. Like the friends with benefit?
Yeah.
Engagement and marriages sometimes don't work out either. But then she found out my sister got a +1 for her F-boy. And there is an update, folks. I have no idea. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that he moved away and they hate him for that.
Moved away, makes a lot of money, hates him for it.
Yeah, but there is an update 1 week later. Thank you to everyone who responded to my last post. I can't believe how many replies it got, and I'm trying to keep up, but couldn't. I also thought it'd be 50-50, not the a-hole and you're the a-hole, because I know what I did was a bit petty. To the people who said you're the a-hole, I understand your reasons. Yes, it was cowardly to not RSVP to avoid drama. But looking back, I was in a headspace where I just caved to the guilt if I RSVP'd that I wasn't planning to attend. Also, a little part of me was hoping they'd realize I didn't RSVP and they'd tell me they want me to come. But every day that passed between the RSVP date and the wedding, I got angrier and more hurt, and I wanted to make it clear in a big way that if they don't want me around, I don't have to be around. And I get that's an a-hole move. I had a long phone call with my aunt and cousin last night about the wedding drama. They have given me some more info, and our suspicions are a bit of conjecture based on what we know and what we've heard. But here it goes. We really do think my mother felt I rejected them when I didn't move back after graduating. This is despite always coming home for my brother and sister's graduation, all birthdays, mine and immediate families, holidays, special events, etc. I practically visit on a monthly basis. But despite this, we think that she has some weird vendetta against me for splitting up her family and being an example to my siblings that they don't have to stay local.
They don't, though. You don't.
Even worse, somehow visiting so often made my mother resentful because my aunt mentioned that my mother once told her a few years ago that I was flaunting my wealth by showing I could visit so often.
You see,
Oh my
exactly.
What you said.
Yep.
Thanks to my senior year internship, I went immediately into a field where progression can be quick, and thanks to going back for a very specialized master's degree, I am in a very niche space within that field and was able to move up faster. I'm not bragging, it was just luck, connections, and a great mentor early on. People suggested my brother might be jealous. He does earn less, but as far as I know, he loves his job. It just doesn't have the same career progression. Honestly, his job is much more exciting than mine, and I'm sure it fulfills him a lot. My job isn't terrible, it's just not one anyone wants to hear work stories about at a dinner party, lol. I was also flaunting my money by gifting family money when they needed it. My grandfather often said, never loan family money. Give it freely if you want to, but you'll destroy relationships when you start asking for repayment. I think that's actually very smart. That's a very smart thing to say.
Money will definitely, money is a way that money will blow anything up, dude.
Yeah, I think loans are very tricky.
Yeah.
Not a week of Judge Judy reruns goes by without proving that true. So when I could, I gifted my family money when they needed it. Money for car repairs, money to help with my parents' mortgage, when my dad was out of work during the vid, money when my brother ran out halfway through his kitchen renovations, and until last night, my parents' internet and Disney Plus bills, but I've now canceled the monthly auto payments. Again, this was me flaunting my success, but they never stopped asking either.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Is it's like,
okay, so yeah, this is why they're saying.
So it was literally exact. You're in this unwinnable position where it's no matter what you do, you're either flaunting your wealth or you feel like you're too good to even help them. Yeah. So this is a them problem, not a you problem.
Nope. My aunt and cousin also said they've heard lots of passive-aggressive comments about me over the years. First from my mother during the first few years after I decided to stay in Portland, and then eventually from my siblings. We're pretty sure my mother slowly poisoned them against me for not moving back home and showing what happens if they ever tried to move away. Someone said this about my mother meeting my girlfriend in my previous post. To be honest, given the context of everything else that's happened, what your mother said here about finally finding someone who can put up with ya sounds less like a tongue-in-cheek joke and more like a not-so-subtle barb.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, that's a weird way to put that.
Yep. I see it now. I laughed it off as just my mom's humor, but I now also see that these passive-aggressive comments to my siblings over years, was subtle manipulation to turn them against me and for me to learn to accept it. A lot of people suggested this treatment was to get me to move back home and to punish me for leaving, but I'm not going to come home to embrace treatment like this and hope it goes away now that they got their way, especially when it's been too ingrained in them by now. It also explains why for the past few years, almost every conversation is initiated by me. They simply don't like me anymore and don't need me until they need or want something. My cousin also learned from another cousin that my brother shot himself in the foot when he mentioned the engagement party. I wasn't supposed to know at all. The plan was to tell everyone I couldn't make it and hope I'd never find out. My brother told that cousin that I wasn't supposed to find out about it, but after he let it slip, I wouldn't shut up about asking to come. Based on how they've been talking about me for a couple of years, lots of extended family thinks I'm some annoying loser who makes my too often visits miserable for my family, and I can't get the hint to F off, so I'm finally effing off. I'm sorry. Anybody in your family who's hearing this of like, oh, he's some annoying loser who comes, is crazy. You are family. I don't care if you were annoying. You're family. You can't get the hint to F off. You're family. Unless they have definitive proof that you're stealing money or awful person, if I heard that, I'd be like, you want your brother to F off?
Like he won't take the hint. It's like, well, because you're too scared to tell me to F off because you're taking my money.
This is not a guy who's like, will you go out with me? Will you go out with me? No, this is your brother. My aunt and mother never really got along. My aunt is my mother's brother's wife. Okay. But my aunt said she knew all of this had my mom's name all over it, and that years of digs, passive-aggressive comments, and full-on aggressive comments have all come to this. She said they're not the same people. I told them that I don't think there's any coming back from this. My aunt and cousin both mentioned that they never heard my dad say anything bad, so my aunt is going to have my uncle talk to my dad man to man to see if he can find out what the heck is going on. By the way, if you want to find out what the heck is going on, listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Yeah, you already know what the heck's up.
There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts, boys?
Yeah. Lose their number. Lose your mom's number, probably. Yeah, really. I don't know. That's just
don't give them any more money.
Gut check it started there. It started from one of your parents, and then it seeped into everything else.
I think
whoever told you that the engagement party was happening, don't lose their number.
No, the brother let it slip.
Well,
the brother let it slip.
So it's like even your brother.
I think he was the twin.
Right, but it's like I feel like if you step back, and you just pull back, And then the
Yeah.
mom probably goes crazy about it because now she can't, I don't know, there's nothing left for her to manipulate. So she's just going to go ballistic probably.
Yeah.
And I feel like your siblings might be like, maybe we were wrong to believe everything she said about our brother, even though we do, we're human. You can feel jealous. You can feel insecure about like somebody like a brother or a close friend being more successful than you. But like, especially if you have like another thing like pushing you behind you to like be like, yeah, and it's worse than you think, and it's worse than you think. Like,
I think you just need to figure out who reaches out to you.
Yeah, definitely do a season of no contact and no financial aid to your whole family.
And see who comes over and says like, hey, what happened?
Exactly.
Why? And you see who comes over and says, hey, what happened? Are you okay? And who says, hey, we want money.
Right. And yeah.
But there's a little bit more. I thanked my aunt and cousin and reminded them they are pretty much the only family I have left, and I don't plan on losing touch with them. My aunt even mentioned that they haven't gone camping in years and asked if there are any nice places around Portland. It's too far to drive to go camping, but it means they may visit sometime. They also said they're going to try to correct info about me with extended family members, but I told them not to bother. They've already chosen to believe it. But for now, my immediate family are cut off. I blocked them on my phone and social media. No more free handouts when they need money. No more wasting money to go to Phoenix, effing Arizona 10 times a year just to be roasted by the sun and family members.
That's yes. Phoenix is
Hot.
Phoenix.
Hot. No more the old 1-2 bag. Thank you all for your support and helping me realize my family really is crappy. Comment 1, this makes me sadder than a lot of the more dramatic, angst-inducing posts I find on the sub. It really does. Reply, especially because you feel in the first post that Opie thought he was close to his family, but then they pulled this crap. Comment 2, Opie's going to get all those money requests in a few months, asking for more handouts. Doubt he would update, but man, would I love to know the crap storm of, woe is me, I need money, when that comes through. I don't get mom, though. Shouldn't she be proud that her kid did so well professionally and financially? And the fact that none of his siblings can see through the BS says a lot, too. Comment 3, although the uncle will presumably speak to the OP's dad, it's hard to see much movement from that. You have failed as a father, you have failed as a human being, and your wife is an absolute disgrace. Isn't an easy message to stick the landing on. And even if it does land, what is the dad gonna do? Grovel? Divorce? Deprogram his other kids? It's broken, and the dad will, at best, despise himself for his chronic failings. Comment 4 says, I may be wrong, but I'm picking up some ex-Mormon coded language and family dynamics here. That's a really good point.
Could be.
Is there, I just think even if it's not ex-Mormon, is there a religious element of like leaving the faith,
Yeah, just another reason was like Mr. Big Shot thinks he's so much better than the Latter-day Saints.
Arizona has a decently high concentration of the faith, and if OP moved away to a liberal city and left the church the rest of the family belonged to, in this case, potentially including all extended family too, because of Mormonism, that would really make being iced out from his family make more sense. Mormons believe in prosperity gospel, and when someone is able to be happy and successful after abandoning the faith, they have to tear that person down to legitimize their own life choices. I have unfortunately experienced the same thing and know many, many other former members of cults have had similar experiences. And folks, that is the end of that story. My sister's girlfriend is uncomfortable with me living with them.
What are you going to do about it?
I, 20 male, found myself in a bit of a pickle recently. The apartment I was renting with my roommate got its rent jacked up by the landlord, and neither of us could afford to stay. He moved back in with his parents, but my parents live too far away, and the rent in this city is incredibly expensive. I spend most of my time studying and work only part-time, but even then I've been getting far fewer hours because my boss says he doesn't need me around that much. By the way, this comes from Maybe Overstepped, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, my lovely sister, 26 female, whom I love more than anyone in the world, was kind enough to offer a helping hand. She told me I could stay at her place free of charge for as long as I needed. I thought this was incredibly kind of her, and I promised I wouldn't stay a day longer than I had to.
Aww.
This is great. Everything's fine.
Dang.
She basically told me that it's my home as much as it is hers, even though she pays for everything. I've tried my best to insist she take rent from me to make it fair, but she refused, saying I should save up whatever money I earn for myself. So I've been doing all the chores like cleaning, shopping, and cooking. It's great living with her. We're having so much fun, and I genuinely feel like she enjoys me being here. I love that. Sibling living together is great. Woo!
I had a good run for about a month or two.
Yeah.
And then it ended with me doing all the dishes.
Rough, man. That sucks. Yeah, Sam doesn't cook enough to have that many dishes.
My brother didn't cook.
Where are these dishes coming from?
I wasn't the best roommate either, but good
Yeah,
for
you
you.
were.
I'm glad
You
you're having
were.
a good experience.
Yeah, I mean, Sam's not even here right now.
He'll never be here.
Never here. Here's where I think I overstepped my boundaries. My sister is bi, and she's had this lovely woman, 26 female, as her partner for as long as I can remember, maybe since graduating from high school. She's a really lovely person, and I think my sister is really lucky to have her. Unfortunately, marriage equality isn't legal yet in our country, but if it ever is, I'm sure they would definitely get married. My sister's girlfriend I've known for quite a while. She's really into video games and likes a lot of the same movies and anime as me, so we've been good friends for some time. I mean, you've known her since your sister was in high school, so yeah, makes sense. We often game together or go to the movies together. I know it's probably a bit weird going to the movies, just me and my sister's girlfriend. No, I don't think that's weird.
Nah, unless you're like, oh, I'm always hanging around my sister's friends and I don't have any friends of my
Yeah.
own. Then I could see that being weird.
But my sister really doesn't mind at all, and usually they aren't the sort of movies that would interest her anyway. She comes over to my sister's apartment quite a bit, and I noticed something they never did when they were together at our parents' house. They're really open with displays of affection, and it's quite frequent. Like sometimes she'd be over in the morning when I'm having breakfast, and she and my sister would start making out in the kitchen, touching each other and all that stuff. Okay. That's a little too far.
How you doing, OP?
Now, I'm the farthest thing from a closet guard you could think of, and most straight guys would probably be turned on by that sight. Okay, it's your sister. It's your sister.
Yeah,
But this is my
weird.
sister, so I feel incredibly put off and uncomfortable when this happens. Yeah, okay. I don't even think you needed to include that line.
Well, he's being real.
He's
being
like,
real here.
most guys, it's your sister. It's your sister.
He's
And-
being real here. He's saying that there's public display of two women. One is my sister. I don't know how to feel about it. What am I supposed to do? That's what he's
No,
basically
he
saying.
knows how
here.
he feels about it. He feels
No,
uncomfortable by it.
He does feel uncomfortable by it because he knows what it's making him feel inside.
No!
So now, no. This is read
That's
between the
not what he
lines,
said.
Sophia.
He said most.
Read between the lines.
He said most straight guys would probably be turned on by this, but I feel incredibly put off and uncomfortable.
He's adding that in there. Like, but I feel put
No,
off and incredibly
that's gross,
uncomfortable.
Riley. Ew.
I'm
Ew.
okay. Just deny the
Ew.
truth then.
Ew.
I think it's gross too. I'm just reading between the lines. This guy doesn't know how to deal with it.
Okay, that's his sister. And also, I feel like personally, if anyone was doing this, I would get uncomfortable.
Yeah, if it's like two goldfish kissing,
Anything.
anything, two turtles doing it.
Keep it in.
Have you ever seen
keep
two
it
turtles
PG.
doing it?
Okay. Everyone's seen that video. But anyway, I often try to leave the room when they get all lovey-dovey together, but when I'm having breakfast at the table, usually all I can do is stare down at the table and pretend I'm not there, and it can go on for minutes.
Dang, this cereal is so good, dude. OP, you're missing it, man.
No,
Anytime they do it,
ew,
no,
oh.
you're not even letting me finish.
You said you're missing it. Okay.
You're missing out on a great opportunity
Yeah.
to play any song you want to during that moment, so they'll stop. She'll be coming around the
Oh,
mountain
okay.
when she comes.
That's a
Anything
different
to
song,
like
yeah.
turn off the mood.
Oh, I just be like, ew, gross.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You can just, you have the
You can do
power
anything.
within you. You don't have to sit there and let it happen.
Dude, if my brother was making out with his girlfriend in front of me, I'd be like, stop. Ew.
I'd tell my brother, I'd be
gross.
like, get a room, man.
Get a room. That's what I'd do. So
Yeah.
here's where I think I overstepped my bounds. I approached my sister in a really polite manner, requested that she be more aware of my presence. I told her I have nothing against them, but she's my sister, so naturally I'd feel uncomfortable seeing her in that situation constantly. I asked if she could just be aware of my presence and maybe tone it down when I'm in the same room. She instantly agreed and thought she should have thought of that earlier. Honestly, I feel like maybe girlfriend is the instigator of this. You know, like of all of the not in like her brother's in the room. I think it's like I think she's the more touchy one, and that's probably why OP's sister didn't really think of it.
Okay.
It's just kind of like, oh yeah, sure.
W sister.
I offered to get out of the apartment way more often than I do. I already often take time out to go to the library at university and study during the night, or just go watch a movie on my own during the weekend, so that my sister and her girlfriend can have the entire apartment to themselves. So kind of you. I do take precautions to make sure I'm not constantly in the way of their relationship, but I also acknowledge that because of the situation, there are some times where I'm going to be unable to help being around, and your sister should recognize that she has offered you a place to stay kind of indefinitely, and you're doing chores, you're helping out and stuff.
Yeah, and if she wants to take that back,
yeah, she can't just kind of...
She can start a conversation with you.
Anyway, after I had that conversation with my sister, the next morning her girlfriend was over as usual. Her girlfriend leaned in to kiss her, but my sister backed away and told her, I think we shouldn't do that stuff when my brother's around. It makes him feel weird. No!
Oh no.
No!
Oh man. That was not executed
so poorly
at all.
This is what you do. You take your girlfriend aside, not when she's about to kiss you. Take her aside, call her up, text her, I don't care. You say, hey, I talked to my brother. He was feeling a little bit uncomfortable, like when we do a lot of PDA, if we could just tone it down, or, you know, like give him a little bit of just be a little respectful of his presence.
Yeah.
That's the conversation we have. We don't go, oh, sorry, my brother thinks it's weird. That sounds like he's homophobic.
Yeah.
No.
Or also like, oh, he gets turned off by his sister kissing other girls.
No.
That's not it at all.
No. I instantly apologized and left the kitchen. Now OP's the bad guy. But my sister still insisted that it was weird doing it when I was nearby. Dude. Ugh.
Not nearby.
Her girlfriend seemed pretty pissed off by the whole thing, but silently accepted it. I could tell she blamed me and felt I was in the way of their relationship. I regretted having brought it up with my sister since I'm a guest in her home. The thing is that you're not really a guest. Like, you live there. You're her roommate. She is very kindly allowing you to live there, but like I feel like there is a difference between a person who's visiting for the day, you know, like that type of guest, and a roommate who you are very kindly allowing to live there, and it is a different situation than like a roommate who's paying, of course.
I feel like it's a situation of till you get back on your feet. Not roommate. I don't think that they're a roommate necessarily.
I think he's a roommate. I think it's like I think it is different than a roommate pays. Like, he's not on that level. But I think that like when you're there for kind of an indefinite amount of time and you've offered to pay and you're doing all that chores and stuff, I feel like it is different than just a guest.
Yeah, and then at that point, if I was OP, I'd probably go to my sister's girlfriend and explain
and be like,
it
hey,
all.
I did not mean it that way. Just like, I love you guys. But it's just like I felt a little comfortable with the PDA.
Yeah.
After a few days, her partner seemed to have let it go, and I was trying to make myself scarce as much as possible to give them space and privacy. Her partner was being nice to me again, and the coldness seemed to have disappeared. We were sitting in the apartment playing video games in the afternoon when my sister came home from work around the usual time. And like she always does, she gave me a hug and a kiss like she does every day. Her girlfriend instantly fumed and started lashing out at her, telling her it was unfair she was still kissing and hugging me in front of her, but she wouldn't do anything with her if I was in the same apartment. I tried to stay silent, but it escalated into a pretty big argument. At first, her girlfriend started lashing out at my sister, but then she directly turned to me and started blaming it on me, saying I was interfering in their personal life and I had no place to. When her girlfriend lashed out at me, my sister got really angry with her girlfriend and started shouting back and defending me, saying it was not my idea but hers, and I had done nothing wrong and she shouldn't dare say a word against me. I'd never seen my sister angry like that before. She's normally such a calm, lovely person, and not only was she really angry, but angry at the woman she loved. And again, the sister's not quite getting it because she's having this very loud, aggressive argument in front of her brother, which is on a different, on the opposite spectrum, but is the same thing as having a bunch of PDA in front of your brother.
The intention from the sister seems good, but It's just the way she goes about
Yeah,
it.
it's like you guys keep involving your brother in the very intimate parts of your relationship, like aggressive arguments and like PDA. And it's like all he's asking is just wait until I'm out of the room, please.
Just let me finish my cereal and you
That's
guys can
it.
start macking out.
I just stayed silent, and after her girlfriend had left, I apologized to my sister. She insisted I had nothing to apologize for, but I feel incredibly guilty still and know deep down that the whole thing was my fault. It's not. Your sister's girlfriend is going to blame it on you because that's how it was kind of told to her. But it really is just your sister's girlfriend and your sister have bad communication skills.
Yeah.
And don't really know how to differentiate between what is public and what is private. And also that, it could be like she felt like she had to hide it a little bit with when she was living with your guys' parents and feels a little bit more comfortable around this space. But regardless, she really needs to understand that it is different now that you're living with her. And if she can't do that, if it doesn't work, then she has to let you know that you can't live with her.
Yeah.
But she can't do this while you are here and she's saying it's fine that you're here.
Mm-hmm.
I massively overstepped my bounds where I shouldn't have. You really didn't. And now may have caused a rift in my sister's relationship. I hate myself right now for what happened, and I'm feeling incredibly stupid and guilty. I wish there was some way to help, but I'm worried anything I say or do could unintentionally make things worse. And there is an update, folks.
Oh my goodness.
But what do you think?
It also sounds like there's a layer beneath just the PDA.
Yeah.
Because OP asked the sister, hey, I don't want you to do anything while I'm can physically see you.
Yeah.
The sister took it as, oh, you
near
are
us.
Anything near us, even if you're in the same apartment as us, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And maybe, this is just like my hypothetical thing, maybe the sister actually isn't okay with the PDA, found an excuse for it, and is now using that anytime her girlfriend's around, and then her girlfriend gets upset at the sister because she wants to, be physical, be affectionate,
Yeah.
but she's not having it because, the excuse is here. Maybe there's a little bit more there than just the brother.
No, I agree. I think oftentimes when you have people who are really PDA, there is one person who's somewhat, not saying that it's not both of them doing it, but you have one person who is maybe more of an instigator.
Yeah.
And maybe she's realizing, oh yeah, my brother brought it up. Oh, I am a little bit more self-conscious of it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But there is an update, folks. Unfortunately, my sister and her girlfriend broke up. Dude, that's not your fault. Yeah, however, it was not my fault. It's not your fault.
Oh, dude,
They
this
were
is
having
coming.
they were having so many more problems. If all it took for them to break up was you being like, "Hey, can you cool it?" And they were like, "How dare you?" Yeah, your sister
Never.
had a lot of other problems in that relationship.
Yeah.
It seems they've had some problems for a while. I just haven't known anything about it. I had a talk with my sister about what I had said. I basically told her that when I asked her to tone it down, I didn't mean to avoid any form of physical contact with her girlfriend, just avoid the overly intense stuff. I pointed out how I'd noticed they had suddenly got so cold and frosty with each other, and I hoped she wasn't taking my polite request too far. She told me it wasn't my fault at all. They'd had some issues for a while. I just didn't know about it. Honestly, I was surprised because they'd been together for so long, and they always seemed like the perfect couple. They were always so happy and so much in love around each other. My sister told me she loves her girlfriend so much, but there are two sides to her. There is the side of her that is really loving and caring and kind, but there is the other side where she is sometimes overly possessive, controlling, and demanding. Which honestly might be why there is so much PDA, because it's kind of like that asserting dominance thing of
Yeah. I want it.
I want it. Give it to me.
It seems there's an ongoing communication problem. I called that. I saw it. Where whenever my sister denies her something, the girlfriend gets angry and demanding, and this sometimes escalates into fights. But they always make up, and the girlfriend always ends up apologizing and saying she's sorry and loves her, which is why they've never broken up.
Ooh.
Yeah, not great.
Yikes. A little love bombing?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
No, yeah. It's, you have this big fight, and then she's like, no, I'm sorry, I love you, blah, blah, blah. I told her I had no idea about all of this. There's a lot that I don't know. I told my sister that this sounds serious, and if this is a real problem, She needs to have a serious talk with her girlfriend or end things if she's not listening. My sister said she entirely agreed, but was herself scared of the outcome. I told her I'd always have her back. She asked me if I'd maybe say something to her girlfriend about it since I was good friends with her and we game often together. I told her maybe I could, but I think this is something she needs to address herself. Absolutely don't do that. Do not talk to her girlfriend about that. That is not
how you go about it.
That's crossing the line for sure.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. That's probably why they have problems in the relationship.
That is I don't know. I can't imagine that. Does she not have enough friends outside of this?
Yeah.
That's my other question.
Well, I wonder if the girlfriend has been pretty controlling about who she can and can't be friends with, and maybe monopolizing her time.
Oh, yeah.
A few days later, I was at home playing games with my sister's girlfriend while my sister was at work. The girlfriend said to me, "It doesn't really bother you that much when your sister and I kiss, does it?"
What?
And I don't really think it's your place to get in between our relationship. You're just a guest in her home. Ooh. I told her I agreed and didn't say much else and just steered away from the topic. Stop trying to involve OP.
Gross.
Stop. Like, literally, they both trying to get OP to be this kind of like mediator in their relationship.
Yeah.
Or just kind of scapegoat. Like, on OP's sister's side, she wants him to be the mediator. And then the girlfriend wants him to be the scapegoat. And it's like, I just don't even want to be involved.
I don't want to be here. I just
want to be in the library. That's it.
I just want to eat my Frosted Flakes without my sister making
Macking
out. That's all I ask. Also, I think the girlfriend's or sister's girlfriend wants to be around with the brother playing video games so she can still have it in.
When my sister came home, she said hi to us. It was a much colder hi to her girlfriend than to me. She came up, gave me a hug and a kiss from behind as usual. Her girlfriend quickly got upset and stood up, demanding to know why she showed such affection towards me but not towards her. And it escalated into an argument. Yikes. My sister gave me a look and I knew she was going to break up with her. She gave me the keys to her car and told me to go to the shops and watch a movie or something. Go out. Come back later.
Here's $20.
Here's $20. Buy yourself something nice. I went out alone for the rest of the night, mostly sitting in the movie theater until quite late. I got a text from my sister asking why I was out for so long and that she didn't mean for me to be gone that long. Opie's like, I didn't even want to chance it.
Yeah, seems like you both take things too far.
I got home and saw she was crying pretty badly. They had broken up as expected. Apparently, it wasn't nice. I can't imagine it would be. I did what I could to make her feel better and we talked things over. I had really thought the relationship was the one, but it seemed not. Not everything is meant to be, and there was a lot that I apparently didn't know about it. It was all happy and perfect on the outside, but it seemed there were huge tensions on the inside. Since her girlfriend was over at my sister's apartment quite often, there was some of her stuff there. My sister asked me to take it back to her since she didn't want to see her again. She said I should do it since I'm her friend, and she told me I could still be friends with her and game with her if I wanted to. Their breakup shouldn't affect that. I feel like just how she treated OP should affect it.
Yeah.
I drove some of the stuff back to her ex-girlfriend's the next day and had a brief chat with her.
Oh my gosh, dude, stop talking to her.
Dude,
you don't understand what you are to her. You're the bait on the end of a fishing hook, and you keep going up to the earth so you could become the bait.
I've had to do this before with like a ex-friend when they broke up with their partner. I had to go bring stuff to the partner. And they were just downstairs, so it wasn't like a whole, I didn't have to drive. But I had to go down. So I'm like having a conversation with the ex-friend.
Yeah.
And hearing them cry about it. And then I had to go downstairs. And then also that partner started, because I was kind of friends with them before.
Yeah.
And so then they're complaining about it to me. And I'm like, dude, why? Stop. Don't put me in this.
Don't put me in this. I had to do this to my ex's friend.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of close with, not really kind of close, but I hung out with her a lot. And she was going to Atlanta to see her again. And I gave her back all the stuff. And I gave her a big hug. And it was like, all right, give this to her. Because I wasn't able to give my ex like a big hug before we broke up. Because I thought I was going to see her again. And then I gave her back the little Lego piece she got me. So take care of it. She's like, you don't want it? I'm like,
I'm good.
I don't want it. And then I lost a lot of weight by that time.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you look great. I was like, good. Okay. You're tell.
Excellent. You don't have to tell anyone that.
Actually, don't tell anyone that.
Don't tell anyone. She was also quite upset, and I just basically said, I'm really sorry the way things turned out. She apologized for trying to blame me for some of the deep-seated problems they had. We both agreed, even though we're good friends, we should stay apart for a long while now because of the breakup.
You guys are good friends.
By the way, you should never stay apart from us because you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
This is
tough.
This is a tough one. I feel like your sister has already kind of made up her mind and was just done with the whole thing.
Yeah, I think she was just finding excuses to distance herself from her girlfriend.
Yes, and it wasn't tough for the sister. It's just awkward for you to be there.
To be the excuse.
But I will say, you probably earned yourself another 3 months stay.
Yeah. Now there's nothing. There's nothing that's preventing you from staying.
Oh.
Good luck, OP. And I hope that your room situation is okay.
I hope so too.
But there's a little left. My sister thanked me for my help. She's still pretty upset even now, obviously. I mean, they've been dating since high school, so. But it's expected when you have a major breakup from such a huge relationship. I didn't pry too much or ask for any gossip or info that wasn't freely given to me by her. I told her I'll work on finding a place to move to, but she said purely and honestly that she would rather I stay in her apartment for the time being. Yeah, she probably wants the comfort. She's like, I have no one. I'm alone. Please stay with me.
You better stay with her or she's going to adopt 12 kittens all at once.
She said she's going through a major emotional trauma and really needs someone to rely on and a confidant to always speak to and be there for her so she doesn't feel alone and helpless. And she'd be happy if I stayed there for the time being. I told her I'd be happy with that too. Oh. I've been doing most of the cooking, shopping, and house chores for the past few days while my sister's been sulking in bed or on the couch. I think she might have even caught a cold or something. Oof, rough. But I'm happy to help in whatever way I can. I called my parents and told them what had happened. They were pretty upset. They didn't know how bad things were either, and offered to help in whatever way they can, although they're both far away.
Aww.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that she has this really great support system in her family.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's pitching in, helping out.
I love that.
I could see myself doing that for my sister. If my brother got broken up with, I just get him pizza. Like, yeah, you'll be fine.
That's what you did for me.
I got you pizza?
What? No, I just supporting me.
Oh.
You were a good support.
I was like, I don't remember getting you pizza.
I didn't get you pizza.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Nah, yeah, you gotta be there. And you can come by whenever.
Oh, thanks.
5 minutes away.
Yeah, I've already come over once.
You have, yeah.
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 Maybe Sunday.
Cool. I'll be around.
Perfect.
All right. Well, that's the end of this episode. Reach out to your sibling. Tell them
you love them.
Tell them that if hypothetically you stayed with them and they said that it was okay for free, and then you told them to stop being PDA with their significant other, and then they broke up, that you would be there for them.
You would be there
and
for
stay
them
there
too.
longer.
Aww.
Tell them that if you're close.
Tell them that specific thing.
Yeah.
My daughter's ex-stepfather wants to rekindle their connection.
Ooh, is this a good idea? I don't know.
In November of 2019, I, 42 male, was playing a game with my wife, 42 female, and our kids, 9 and 4 male, when I got a knock on my door. When I opened, there were 2 officers and a shy girl who I will call Jane, now 19 female. Whoa. I let them in, and the cops explained that Jane was my biological daughter.
Whoa.
This is like that movie with Amanda Bynes and Colin Firth. Is that Colin Firth?
I have never heard that name before.
Anyway.
I don't know.
I had no idea of this, but they brought me a DNA test. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Lost in Hell, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, then it all made sense. For some backstory, I had a one-night stand 20 years ago with a random woman I met at a party. The woman was actually married, and her husband, who I'll call Steve,
Soy Steve.
43 male, found out Jane wasn't his after Jane took a 23andMe test as a small gift from one of her friends.
Whoa. Dude, imagine being that friend of just like, sorry.
Oh, dang.
Or the friend knew and
Yeah, the
started
friend's
looking
like,
at
"You
the
guys
mom's
don't look-"
eyes, the dad's eyes, and her eyes, and was like, Something's not right here.
It's like in Ratatouille when he starts connecting all the dots. That music's playing. And they're like,
Yeah.
When Steve found out about this, he immediately blew up at Jane and the mom and punted them both out of the house. Honestly,
I hate to say I saw it coming.
A-hole move on the dad's part.
Absolutely.
To punt your 19-year-old daughter who you've been dad to for 19 years.
Yep. Absolutely.
A-hole move. He better have said, I'm so sorry, come back here.
Yeah.
During the divorce process, he told Jane that she was a lie. He would never be his daughter ever again, and he never wants to see her ever again.
Oh my gosh. That's so terrible. Because the mom knew.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't obviously know.
She's the a-hole, of course.
And
not OP.
yeah, exactly. So imagine just one day waking up and it's like, oh, my dad isn't my dad, and also he hates me now.
And also he hates
That's
me.
crazy.
Jane cried and begged for him because she only ever knew him as her father. But Steve took his name off the birth certificate and went no contact. That is so hardcore of an a-hole move.
Dang, man.
Like how the fact that you can turn a situation where you've been wronged so much into one where you are the biggest a-hole.
Yeah, that's impressive, dude.
Wow.
Impressive how much of an a-hole you can be.
Yikes.
Yeah.
When I asked why she isn't staying with her bio mom, they told me that the mom fell into a depression and started taking substances. She was involved in an accident a week ago that caused her to be taken away from CPS. Whoa.
Oh, wow, dude.
Wait.
A lot is happening at this age. Wait, actually, no. I don't
She's
think she is
19.
19 at this point. I think
Oh.
she's like 16 or something. Wait,
Because I was about to say, why would she have been taken away?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on. Wait.
It says now 19, I think.
Yeah, now 19, so she must have been younger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why would CPS be there?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay. So she's not 19 right now.
Even worse.
I agreed to let her in, and Jane brought her bags in the house. This was obviously very unstable, as for a while, Jane was shy around us. She didn't talk a lot. My wife and I were welcoming to her as much as we could. Our oldest son, Alex, immediately started loving Jane and tried to spend time with him. He always wanted a sister and spent a lot of time with Jane. Our younger son, Tony, was a newborn when she arrived, so he just grew up with her and loved her naturally. Over time, Jane started becoming more open with us. We got closer and closer, and in December 2020, when the family was having a movie night, Jane kissed me on the cheek and said, "I love you, Dad." I'm just like imagining this young 16-year-old has been kicked out of her house. 15-year-old, sure. This young 15-year-old has been kicked out of her house.
Yeah.
Her mom has been, she's been taken from her mom by CPS.
Dude.
And then the police brings her to a man that she's never met before. Never met before.
Yeah.
My dad.
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
imagining you show up with the police.
Yeah.
On the doorstep of a man you never met.
Right.
And then they take you in and
it works out.
And it works out.
Oh my
Also,
gosh.
statistically, this may have happened to one of you. This almost happened to one of you, statistically.
What do you mean? Like how
You
how
watching
often
right
it
now,
happens?
this may have almost happened to you or it did happen to you. Please comment.
We all cried except me, LOL, of happiness. Why did you cry? My daughter is now a beautiful 19-year-old lady in college, and it's like we've already raised her for the 19 years of her life.
Oh.
Now to the problem. No.
Wait, I forgot there was a problem in this whole story. I didn't like. I really feel bamboozled right now. I thought that was the whole story.
No, I don't want a problem.
I thought that was it.
I got a random message a week ago from someone I didn't recognize. When I opened it, I realized that Steve had sent the message. It was pretty long, so I'll just reword it here. Hello, OP. I want to talk to you about Jane. When I found out she wasn't mine, my world shattered. I punted her out because I couldn't bear to see her after the love of my life had betrayed me in such a devastating way. Shut up, you little baby man.
Yeah.
Hate you. I know you had no fault in this, but it still hurts. Over the last year, I've realized my daughter will always be my daughter and nothing can change that. I want to reach out to you so I can apologize to her, but please let me see her again. I hate you. At first, I wanted to tell Jane, but then I remember a conversation about 7 months ago. My oldest son asked about Jane's other father, Steve, and I overheard Jane say something like, "Oh, you mean ex-father? He doesn't realize the damage he had done to me, and it took so long to recover."
Yeah.
I have confided in only my wife about this, and she told me to just leave the message be and ignore it. So now I'm stuck with 3 outcomes. Tell Jane about the message and raise hellfire again. Respond to it myself and see how it goes. Just ignore the message and let her life continue as normal. I'm not sure completely what to do. Edit, forgot to mention that my daughter still lives at home since the college isn't far away, and she wants to save money, just in case that's important. Also, she was more open to us about Steve as time went on, and she claims to have no love or respect for him anymore.
Dang.
And there are comments. I personally have a pretty clear idea
Yeah.
what he needs to do, but what are you
do you think?
thinking?
I feel like she's 19 now. I think you should tell her about
She
it.
deserves to know.
Absolutely.
She's 19.
Absolutely. Yeah. So tell her about it. Be like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I hate that this happened. I don't like this guy, but somehow he found me.
And
this
you
is
have a
what he
right
said.
to know.
Yeah.
This
So-
was your dad for 15 years of your life.
Yeah. I'm not expecting you to do anything about it. We can absolutely just like
Tell him
leave
to
it
F
be.
off.
Yeah. Tell
ignore
him to
it.
F off, anything like that. Think about it yourself. It'll need some time to
Mhm.
process. Like, she'll definitely have a lot of emotions coming back up
Sure.
around that because that's crazy. But yeah, I think definitely let her know.
I think you need
At
to
the
tell
very
her
least.
therapy if she needs it.
Yep.
Telling her, like, hey, I'm here for you. I am your
Yeah.
dad. I love you.
Right.
This doesn't change anything. Whatever you decide to do, it doesn't change anything. If you want
Yeah.
to go and have a relationship with them or try, I
I'll
fully
be
support that.
Yeah.
If you want to tell him to screw himself, I support it too.
Exactly.
There's comments though. Comment 1 says Jane is an adult and deserves the respect of being told information that regards her to allow her to make her own decisions. I get that you want to protect her from more pain, but a large part of the trauma she experienced was due to being powerless and having no control or choice over her own life.
True.
And also secrets being kept from her.
Yeah.
That was a big thing that destroyed what her life was. Her mother started the entire mess by withholding information.
Exactly.
Jane needs you not to hide things from her or make choices for her. She needs to know that you will always be completely honest with her and allow her to make choices for herself. Comment 2 says, did Jane ever get therapy for this abandonment? I can appreciate that she said ex-father and all, but most children desperately want a connection with their parent. They may talk a big game, but it's a protective mechanism. As an example, I went no contact with my father in my teens and didn't reconnect until I was early 30s. I spent a lot of time in therapy in my 20s regarding the abuse I suffered as a kid from both parents. But that didn't make me not want them. I get that my story is anecdotal, but you can head up any family therapist and they could give you a lot of similar stories. I, 45 female, think you should leave it up to Jane. Show her the message and tell her that you will support her in whatever she chooses, and nothing will change for you if she wants to see where this goes. Is Steve a knucklehead who royally effed up? Yes. But he's human, and had he not effed up, you'd likely not have your daughter in your life in this capacity. If she were 10, I'd likely tell Steve he can take it up when she's an adult. But she's 19 and is an adult, so I would not take away the opportunity for her to choose for herself. If you do and she finds out later, you'll be the bad guy. I agree. And there is
Yeah.
an update.
Exactly. I really hope that he took that advice.
I hope so. I mean, he came onto Reddit to ask, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping he took this
Yeah.
advice. A lot of you told me I should come to clean to Jane, so I did just that. Yay!
Yay!
Sometimes Reddit is helpful, guys.
Yay.
I sat her down after the workday after I posted, and we had a long talk. When I said that Steve had messaged her, Jane got furious and demanded to see the message. She wanted to spill her guts out to him. I tried calming her down, and she started crying. She said she still thought of him as a dad when the news came out and was scared that he would get rid of her, that she began having a hard time trusting people because of what happened. She hugged me and kissed me on the neck a lot, and I told her that if she wants to respond to the message, she can tell me. She said she would think about it. Some days passed by, and Jane tells me that she has what she wanted to say on paper. I took her sheet and went to Steve's contact and typed, "Hello, Steve. Jane has decided to write you a message herself and send it to you. I have attached it below. So keep in mind that I'm not controlling what she says, and I won't force her into anything she doesn't want to do." I then attached a picture of the letter Jane wrote. The letter was basically her explaining in detail everything she feels, and she wants nothing to do with him anymore because she isn't his daughter anymore. I closed the chat with Steve, so I don't know if he read it, but I hope he did. I think this should be the last update. I did see one rule on the subreddit that only one update is allowed. If anything else major happens, I'll post it somewhere else, but I don't think it'll go further than this. Jane, me, and our family spent the night together. Some people asked me to elaborate on the specifics of how Jane got shuffled into my house in the first place, so I'll explain. I don't know the full story of Steve's divorce, but I do know that he relinquished all parental rights to Jane. By the way, you should never relinquish full episodes of stories just like this, because you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Do it.
But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I think it's obviously great that he told her. I think it's great. This is crazy, crazy emotions that she's going to have to work through. But I think either way, whether she wanted to tell him to F off or not saying anything or try to rekindle, she's going to need to deal with a lot of that on her own first, see what she feels like. So I think this is it's the kind of thing where it's like it has to get worse before it gets better.
I agree. And also just be aware that she might change her mind.
True.
This is what she's thinking right after she's gotten this message. But, there might come a day where she decides, oh, you know what, I actually do want to have a relationship with this guy. And it has nothing to do with you. Like, OP, like you've provided her this really safe, encouraging, lovely, space and family. And her desire to have or not have a relationship with her ex-dad is really nothing to do with, like, your parenting.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or honestly, it just is it shows how good you are as a parent too, that she feels safe enough to do all this.
And I didn't even like his message too.
It wasn't that good. It was like, oh, I realized I actually want her in my life. Like, okay.
But like he started off with like, I kicked her out because I couldn't bear looking at her in the face after like my wife did this to me, as if that's something that we're gonna like sympathize.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
It's like, yeah, that's the problem, bud. Like, what do you? That's not gonna. That's it. Explains it, but we already know why. It's not going to excuse it at all.
It's inexcusable. That behavior is like, again, I don't even care that his wife cheated on him.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean that you can kick out a daughter that you've raised for 15 years.
Exactly.
Like, we've read some stories where, dad kicks out a 5-year-old or like a 3-year-old or something. And or it says like, oh, I'm not their parent.
Yeah.
And even then I'm like, like, you've parented that child for more than 2 years and you're still like, that's not my kid.
Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy to me.
What I was thinking is I think he should have apologized, but also had some compensation or a gift or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm so sorry I haven't been here.
Yeah.
Well,
not
like, what would
trying to
you
make any sort of excuses at all.
Do you think like a college fund, Riley? Or like,
something like that, a college fund, some savings or something to rekindle, because it sounds like he just wants his possession back.
Yeah.
Rather than his daughter back.
Yeah, he's just like,
exactly.
I want a child now. I'm ready to have the child now. Give it to me.
Yeah, and even then, it's like it could still be seen as like him just throwing money at the situation, not actually caring.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there are very little ways that Steve could approach this that makes him look like a good guy.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit left. The part where he said he's removing his name from the birth certificate was an obscenity he yelled during the confrontation, but it was never actually removed. When the bio mom became awful, a neighbor called the cops one night and Jane was placed into foster care. The 23andMe test she took was evidence on how to find me, and Jane was actually the one who suggested finding me so she could at least know who I was, and then got an amazing family, so props to Jane for doing that.
Worked out.
This is all information I got from the people who brought Jane here, so sorry if it appears off. I did ask some more questions about how I was found, but they couldn't fully reveal. That's crazy. It's kind of crazy to be like, yeah, we can't tell you how we found you, but we're here and you have to take care of this job.
They've got their special cop ways. They can't.
There's like there's a man in like the shadows outside the door, like wearing like a ear piece.
Yeah.
They're like, don't look over there. We can't tell you how we found. Don't look at him.
Look over here.
Don't make eye contact with him.
Yeah.
So that's all that happened. Thanks for everyone who gave advice. And folks, that is the end of that story. I cut off my stepmother over a stupid fight.
Aw, that's stupid.
My stepmother and I have a very complicated and somewhat effed up history, but I understand that I'm not innocent in some of the problems we have had. My bio parents split before my birth, so I have never known them together. Even to this day, they will actively avoid being at the same place, activity, event, room. By the way, this comes from Old Bit 1163, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. When I was in first grade, my siblings and I moved out of our struggling mom's place to my dad's. One of the only times they have ever compromised that I know of. They amicably decided on a 50-50 custody agreement on the books, but we were primarily at our dad's. He quickly got remarried to a woman who I will call Sharon for the story. Sharon and I didn't get off on the right foot. Some of it was because I was so young and saw her as someone trying to replace my mom. This was only made worse by seeing my mom always feel left out, as if Sharon was getting to parent when she wasn't. Aside from that, Sharon struggled with heavy drinking and would have serious mood swings. I remember the first time I knew she was wasted around me. She leaned in to whisper in my ear in front of my dad and family to say, "You're a witch." But she went, "You're a witch." She went, "You're a witch, Harry.
You're a witch.
This was just after we had moved in. Slowly, we grew closer as my mom and dad pretty much always had to work, but my stepmother always showed up for me. She would even make my dad show up to things he would never have before. We grew close as I learned about some of her problems and tried to help as best I could as a child. She didn't always make the right decisions, but she showed up for me when no one else did. So I began to love her. She would bring me to family events, do arts and crafts with me, and teach me how to bake. I would follow her around and hide her keys when she'd been drinking. Eventually, she went through an inpatient regular use program, and when she got out, I attended a few AA meetings with her. During this time, however, there would still be occasions where Sharon would really hurt me emotionally. Her niece would lie about me saying or doing something mean, and she would always believe it and punish me. She told me I had a terrible voice when singing as a child. Dang! She grounded me when I didn't swim in a trash puddle with her. Huh? She told me I was all fat and jiggled my arm when I tried to justify weighing more than my older siblings by saying, "Whatever, it's all muscle," among many other things. When I was a teen, I saw her punt my oldest sibling out, and while I agree he was being a butt, when she called my dad to tell him about it, she had to get through several minutes of holding on the phone and talk to his secretary and didn't start crying until she got to my dad. I can justify that as letting yourself be vulnerable around your partner or holding it in until they could talk. But I remember seeing the way it all went down, and it felt very manipulative on her part and very calculated. After him, it was her nephew who stayed, and they got into a fight about school, and she punted him out. When I was 16, we clashed hard, but I never understood why. I'd come home from school, and she would be watching TV. Something tame, probably Oprah or Ellen. I'd walk in and say, "Hey," and she would pause the TV and just stare at me until I left, very clearly letting me know she didn't want me there. I can't remember why, but at 16, she punted me out after some sort of fight. I'm confused because it feels like OP said, like, sometimes she was nice and then sometimes she sucks, right? Was she talking about the same people?
And I'm sorry, I just can't imagine the universe in which I walk in and go, "Hey," and somebody gives me the evil eye and I don't go, "So what's that about, huh?" Unless I already know I'm over them.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, "Hey, you look like you want me to just be buried underneath the dirt. What's going on?"
I'm just confused because it seems like we start with Sharon being awful, and then they grew close, and Sharon always shows up for OP. They like love each other, but then she's awful.
Well, it seems like the theme is
really
whenever the
confusing.
kids become older, they get exiled
I guess so.
by the stepmom, right?
Yeah, Sharon.
So why is dad letting this
I
happen?
don't know.
Where's dad?
Where's Papa? It's been almost 20 years, sorry, but I know for a fact it was a dumb fight. My dad called me when I was at work and told me I had to come home, but I could hear Sharon saying in the background, not to come back without an apology. I said I wouldn't be coming back. So my dad shut off my phone in hopes it would force me to come back. I got a new phone plan, co-signed by my mom, and I stayed with my mom through the summer and mostly couch hopped.
Why do you have to
Why are you
couch hop?
couch hopping? Why wouldn't you just stay with your mom? You're 16, no? What? At the end of the summer, my dad told me that if I didn't come back, he would tell my school that I didn't live with him anymore and I would have to change districts in my last 2 years. Jeez, your dad sucks too. I moved back in with them and worked hard the last 2 years towards being the first person in my family to graduate. When I was 18, we got into a new fight after I stayed home sick from school one day, had slept the entire day and hadn't left my room, as per our stay home from school sick agreement, where one must be bedridden and puking to stay home.
That was
my agreement too.
Yeah, it was like, well, if you're going to be sick, no fun allowed.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, I'm already sick. Why? What am I?
Exactly.
What am I, Steve McQueen in The Great Escape? What are you trying to imprison me for?
My mom would never let me watch any TV if I was sick.
And look how you turned out.
At the very end of the day, I had woken up not necessarily feeling amazing, but better, and I had a huge presentation due the next day that I no longer had all day to work on or the school time to finish. So I picked up my laptop and had to look for my charger. When my stepmother asked what I was doing, I told her, and we got into a huge fight about her thinking I was faking and lying about being sick. You should cough on her and get her sick.
Yo, I'll be like, here's the test.
We'll see if that works.
Open your mouth.
Open it. Open up. We'll see in 2 days. This escalated to her punting me out again, and I wasn't able to find my laptop charger on the way out. By this point, the library was already closed, and without the money for a replacement charger, I wasn't able to work on the project until school the next morning. I'll cut off here and just say I failed the final project on several of the criteria, but luckily still passed due to the hard work I had put in previously. I feel like you should have said, hey, I got kicked out of my house.
Here's the lesson here, folks. And I remember being told this in high school and being like, what? You had plenty of time before the day before the project was due to get more work on the project done.
I disagree. As a procrastinator who did all of my work day before.
What did you just say?
A procrastinator.
So does that mean that you had no time at all to do it before?
Didn't say that, but if someone
that's
kicks
all
me
I'm
out of
saying.
my house when I'm trying to do my work the day before, as is my right. As is my right. They suck.
Well, you're right, I guess. But then, like, when something like this happens,
I wrote a
you get
10-page
you get
paper
late
in
fail
a
project.
day, and that's my right.
You wrote it.
And I got 100. That's my right.
She did write it.
My right.
She
I
did
did
that.
write an outline before, so it wasn't completely done in a day.
Point being, yeah, whatever.
I graduated high school and was staying in my then 35-year-old friend's spare bedroom. Sharon was told not to come to the ceremony, but of course showed up. Get out, Sharon. While I hated seeing her, I also respected that she was my father's wife and had been with me and us all through a lot, so I didn't confront her. Yeah, she kicked you out multiple times. She is the a lot.
Yeah.
She's the a lot that you're dealing with.
It's true.
After that was college. She made it clear I wasn't welcome to come do laundry in the house I grew up in and told me to change my address, even though I was in a dorm, so she didn't have to see me at all. I dropped out of college and focused on work, going through separate struggles including anorexia, homelessness, a car accident, as well as my lifelong anxiety and depression getting much worse. Why can't you live with your mom?
It doesn't sound like she was available either.
Kat, no, wait, that's my point. I was my point, Kat. I'm saying that not
Also,
only...
I did that, to be clear. I did, people being like, some people, I did that every time.
Yeah. No.
I learned that lesson through being the guy who's like, if only I had done a single thing before the day before.
Yeah, no, my point was that that's her right. And also she had extenuating circumstances too. That was my point. Eventually, life settles down. I start making some money where I'm able to afford a place to live, and my boyfriend moves in with me. Many stories in between, but long story short, we end up in a different apartment, pregnant, and get married. I tell my dad not to bring his wife. It's a justice of the peace 10-guest type wedding. He brought her. I literally would, if you don't want someone to come and you really don't want someone to come, let's get security.
You need
get
to
someone to say, get out.
If you're
Scram.
anticipating the potential that someone might show up you don't want, you need to have people that you can go, that one, and then they'll just remove them from the premises.
And I didn't make a fuss, just tried to enjoy our moment. During the next few months, Sharon and my dad began to purchase hundreds of dollars worth of stuff for our baby on the way, nearly everything on our registry and then some. They came to the hospital and held my firstborn. I would not let these people around my child after they made me go homeless, kicked me out as a teenager. I would not let them anywhere near my kid. I was still very wary of having a relationship with her for a while, but slowly I began to write off our problems as something most young women go through with their mothers and mother figures. I felt like maybe we butted heads because I was too headstrong or talked back too much. And now that I was older, I could have a more mature relationship with her. She kicked you out as a teenager. She is not capable of having a mature relationship. You are. She is not. So as my son grew through the first year, I eventually started to rely on her and trust her again. I would never, ever trust this person. She also became the only person who would even help us with him when I worked. As she was the one most often available and always willing to lend a hand, she became basically the only one helping with our son. At one point, her sobriety became an issue again and she fell off the wagon. I made it clear that I wouldn't be dropping off my son to her when she was in that state, as well as worrying about her mental health and well-being in general. During this time, I did everything I could at work to not need a sitter or rely on others, but again, we had no one else. Sharon and my dad eventually told me things were better, and I started bringing my son around again. When I had my second, she agreed to take care of them both, and for a short time, it went on like that. When my husband started a new job, all of his hours changed, and I asked Sharon again if she would be okay with this change. She said she was not able to take on the extra load of watching the kids for longer, which I completely understood. This, of course, led me to having to make changes at work. I had to step down just before a better position opened up. I had been working towards this for 15 plus years, which was really hard for me. At the same time, Sharon had a mini stroke and had to go through intense speech and physical therapy to regain the ability to speak correctly, and for the most part, did. At this point, 1 day a week at work was too much for Sharon to commit to, so I left my job and became a stay-at-home mom, though it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. While I was home a lot, I would often visit Sharon with my kids. I would always ask before coming or be invited. She would make us lunch, and we would talk about whatever was going on in our lives. She would have some health issues, and sometimes we wouldn't see her for a while, but we had gotten along well for the past 9 or so years with no problem, so I figured during those times she was taking a break from us or just didn't feel well. I know this next part will sound ridiculous to some people, but this is what happened, and this is what I need input on. During the last presidential campaign, Sharon started bringing up politics a lot more. I have very strong opinions on pretty much everything. Everyone who knows me knows this. Because of this, I never bring up politics with my family or people I know well, but I can't help but join the conversation if it's brought up. I have gotten better at walking away when it doesn't involve me. Basically, we ended up having an intense argument over it. We didn't talk for days, and my dad ended up calling me to talk about the argument a couple weeks later. He said we should make up, and Sharon was expecting an apology for calling her a liar. He and I talked for a while, and I explained what happened. After, he sighed and said she's been watching a lot of podcasts lately, and it's been changing the way she feels about things. I swear I'm not making this up. I don't think you are. That sounds pretty
It sounds like the most normal way people become brain rotted.
This is crazy. Not that crazy.
Can you believe it?
It's been 6 months. They did come to a birthday party for one of my kids, but said nothing to my kids on their birthday. Many important life events came and went, and while I continued to reach out via text with pictures, there was no attempt to reconnect. We saw Sharon at the grocery store. We live in the same town, and she waved and left my toddler standing there without coming over. She drove away, and as I walked through the grocery store, it finally dawned on me how hurt I was. When it was happening to me growing up, I always could convince myself that it was my fault. I have written her countless apology letters for different arguments, and I was always in trouble, so I know I was no golden child. This treatment towards my kids, who were nothing but innocent in our fight, broke my heart. At that moment, walking around the store, I began mentally drafting a new letter. This time, however, it wouldn't be an apology. Fighting tears, she actually came back to the grocery store, saying she had to rush to the vet's because her pet's meds were ready, but came back after because she felt sad she missed my child. She tried to hug her, but my daughter was anxious about it, but I hugged her and started crying. She left quickly after that. In my opinion, she wasn't rushing off anywhere except to stonewall us, but felt bad doing it to my daughter's face. After discussing it with my therapist and several weeks, I sent a text to Sharon about how I love her as a mother, but felt she didn't care for me the same. And we're going to pause that because there was a lot going on right there. I think it's really good that you're going to therapy because that was going to be my suggestion if you could afford it. Seems like you can, which is great. But yeah, I mean, like, you have a really complicated relationship with this person. It seems like she's always been on and off in her support for you, which is really, really tough to deal with, and also just kind of like confusing as a kid. Try and figure out how you feel about this person who you do have fond memories with, but also have very traumatic memories of her kicking you out of the house.
Yeah.
So, definitely go to therapy. And yeah, I think at some point you might have to severely limit contact with this woman.
Yeah, I think she's not going to be good for the kids.
No.
I don't see it being like she had one moment where she was like, okay, maybe that was a little overboard, but it's like,
Yeah.
you just like don't do that from the beginning.
The more time that went by with no attempt on her part to even ask about the kids, the more upset I was over this. That I was open to talking to her, but that it would have to be through text or writing for now, so I can think about my responses and answer when I had the emotional energy to respond without getting upset. She said she didn't know how to respond to that, and that she wasn't avoiding us as she had responded, one-word answers, to the pictures or updates I sent. That she wasn't open to messaging more, but we would call if we needed anything from them. About a month ago, I saw my dad and Sharon at a block party, and my dad invited me to his Labor Day party. I asked which day, and he said Saturday or Sunday. Sunday. You're not having a Labor Day party on Labor Day?
Weak.
To which I said, that's great, because I promised Joanna I'd be at her birthday party on Saturday. He was excited, and it was really nice seeing him because of the fighting. We haven't had many chances to see each other. I asked him later again to confirm it would be Sunday, and he said, for sure. I just received the invite for their party, and it's on Saturday. Essentially at the same time as my close friend's birthday party. When I texted my dad about it, he just said he had thought it would be Sunday at first. I get that they can't arrange a party around me, but I can't help but think Sharon moved the party because I said I wouldn't be able to make it. Not to mention, it would also be Sharon's birthday the day of the party. You would think that would make sense for a party, but normally she hides. She hates tension on her birthday. So I feel like they're going out of their way to make sure I can't go, or at least can't stay long. The invite said nothing about her birthday. My dad said I could drop the kids off, but that really bothered me because they've been avoiding all of us, and that's all my family I now have to miss. But you never have to miss more full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Do it.
There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Keep your distance.
Keep your distance. Have you ever talked to your dad about this? That's what I want to know, because it seems like your dad has been so complicit in his wife just icing you out whenever she wants.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is not something that should be, written off as like, oh, this is all Sharon's fault. Like, it is very much your dad's fault too. Your dad also kicked out a 16-year-old, like, yeah,
multiple.
He tried to get you back in, but didn't kick out the person who kicked you out. So it's kind of clear where his loyalties lie.
It was untenable for a long time.
I definitely, limit contact severely. Your kids come first.
Yep, kids come first, keep going to therapy.
Other context, friends of the family who have known me and Sharon for a long time all side with me. But my husband said I should just apologize so that we can make up. That I'm making a bigger deal about it than I have to? Does your husband not know everything that you've been through? Because I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Gotta let him know.
And that he thinks I get too heated and loud when I talk about politics and things. It's really not about the politics thing. It's about a lifetime of her abandoning you whenever she was a little bit upset. That's what the problem is.
That's what it sounds like.
I admit the last bit is definitely true, but I had already apologized for getting loud. However, I stood strong on not apologizing for calling her out on the lies. So am I overreacting to a stupid fight and should just apologize for saying she lied so my kids can have their grandparents around again? Or am I right to just stay clear so my kids don't get hurt like I have? And there are some comments. Comment 1 says, hey, coming from someone who has a stepmom whose relationship with me has never been great, but is conflicted with feelings because she was once okay or there for me at one point. I understand. I was punted out at 18 by my stepmom because I refused to be a second parent to my younger sister when she was fully capable. And she got pissed about it, called me a witch a bunch of times, and gave me 1 month to get out. And it was this time that made me realize a couple things. The bonding I'd had with her when I was 12 didn't matter anymore. There are things that I feel that these family members do that are just horrific, that they feel should be excused because they're family. Agreed. Her kicking out a 16-year-old onto the streets so that you were couch hopping is despicable.
Disgusting.
And after me getting punted out, I started to realize I don't owe anyone anything. What I'm trying to get at is that you guys have a history of her messing up, trying to fix it, things getting good, then things getting bad, and then things are like how they used to be. And at some point, you can't write off every wrong they do. You gotta recognize a pattern. You don't owe anyone anything. No matter how silly people can make you feel about why you go no contact, it doesn't matter. It comes down to you and how you are going to feel battling this, because it won't just go away. I'm sure some memories your stepmom and your kids might make might help ease some of this tension at some point, but at what cost? If I were you, I don't know how old your kids are, but I'd wait some time. I'd let yourself fully heal from everything you've dealt with your whole life, and it sounds like your stepmom can be a big trigger. I think you'd be surprised who you might become when you start to prioritize yourself. And if you decide to talk to her after you feel okay about things, that's okay too. But respect your peace. Your kids might question naturally why your stepmom, grandma, might not be around, but the older they get, they can make their own decisions to see the situation. Or you could always have your kids be in contact, but not you. But it just sounds like to me you've been hurting about some of this for a little too long, and your snapping point may have been something less significant, objectively, than some of the other things that had happened. Yeah, that's the point. It's like your husband saying, oh, well, like, it was just like a little political debate. It's like, no, it was years and years of her just neglecting you and just emotionally abusing you.
It's like being like World War I started because of one guy. No, there's an
of course
entire.
not.
That's just the end of the fuse.
Yes,
There's so
exactly.
much more context to that.
I hope whatever you do, your husband will back you up and you can enjoy some peace. And folks, that's the end of that story. Good luck, OP, and I really hope your husband gets on the same page, because he just does not seem very in tune with your emotions at all.
And that is true.
Yeah.
Got another story?
My stepdaughter kept stealing from me, so I banned her from my home.
Get out of my house.
She isn't a little kid anymore and is almost done with high school. She's old enough to be tried as an adult. I've helped.
Whoa. Okay.
I've helped put her through therapy and counseling for years. She has stolen from her own blood relatives, including her own mother. She has no reason to steal. Her father is decently paid, so is her mother. She always gets everything on her wish list and has always had everything handed to her. By the way, this comes from Deleted, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And OP says, meanwhile, my kids and I always worked hard for whatever we wanted. We take pride in what few possessions we have passed down from family members and treat gifts with respect because we know how hard someone worked to afford them. The first instance of theft from our household happened when my eldest hit a milestone birthday and was gifted a culturally significant item by the eldest matriarch in our family. This is tradition. It had characters my eldest liked, and she took painstakingly good care of it. 3 months later, said matriarch passed away from old age. Wow. My daughter showed it to her stepsister, who was super careful not to break it and put it back. The day the girl left to go back to her mother's house, we were at a doctor's appointment. When we came back, we saw the item was missing from the spot my daughter kept it. She started crying because it was the last gift that her great-great-grandmother had given her before passing away. I had asked her if she had shown anyone where she kept it, and through the sobs, I heard my stepdaughter's name. I immediately called my husband and told him what had happened, asking if his child had grabbed it by mistake. I was trying to be charitable. He knew the significance of the gift and was absolutely furious. The issue with the gifts is that nobody else is supposed to touch them unless their intentions are good and pure. Nobody stealing has good intentions, only selfishness, leading to a new level of anger on our end. If it took her 3 months to find it, and she found it in pieces that we basically had to wring out of her. The second instance was when my youngest got a gift from his great-grandmother, who now has full-blown dementia. It was a dish set with his favorite character on it, Remy from Ratatouille. Oh. She stole the covered bowl and silverware set. We never saw it again. Now for the latest instance. The same great-grandmother had made me items for my children and any future children. The box was rather plain and could be mistaken for trash if you didn't know what you were looking at. My husband knows not to touch it and respects all of my boundaries. Inside were culturally significant items and sets of baby booties. Both sets for my children were in there, plus an additional set. I am currently pregnant, and like my daughter, I kept this box in the same spot on my nightstand. I just found out very recently that I'm pregnant and went to grab the booties so I could match the yarn and make a take-home blanket like I did with my other 2 kids. But the box was gone. I had remembered she had used our bathroom the day she left. I tore the house apart for almost 2 weeks to make sure that it wasn't pregnancy brain before bringing the subject up to my husband. At that point, I burst into tears. My heart is broken and I love her too, but those booties were priceless and irreplaceable. We had not told the kids about the pregnancy yet, as I am prone to spontaneous miscarriages within the first 3 months. I'm at the end of my 3 months and was getting excited that this one would be viable. He very calmly reassured me that he knew that I wouldn't accuse without looking first. I have been doing my best when his kids are here to show them a kind and understanding home. I make it very clear that I'm a supporting person in their life, and in no way am I trying to replace their mother. Despite everything, she still sabotages every visit and does stuff like this. I told my husband that this was the last straw. She is banned from the house and needs to be properly punished because their gentle methods of making her give items back when she steals have not been working. I am by no means saying spank her, but their methods have proven ineffective, and so has therapy. Her mother counterparents at every turn, saying that there is no way that her precious child stole anything, despite her stealing thousands, yes, thousands from her mother in the past 2 years alone with no proper parenting to correct the behaviors. It does honestly break my heart to ban her from the house, but she has now willfully and maliciously caused harm to myself and my children repeatedly. I have given her multiple chances and gone to family therapy. Even her own blood family only allows her where they can see her in their homes. Okay, so this isn't even like OP's, you know,
it's everyone.
this is not an original thought.
No.
If she, quote, has to go to the bathroom, they tell her to go home or to hold it. Yeah,
Damn.
that's intense, dude.
This girl is a kleptomaniac.
Yeah, because it's not even like she's buying things like or stealing things to sell. I mean, you know, she very well could have sold that family heirloom.
Yeah.
Whatever that was, I'm assuming some sort of like vase or something. But this thing, like with the booties, that's like clearly a sentimental thing.
Yes.
So, like, that is just straight up, like, not even selfish reasons.
No.
It's fully maliciously. I have tried everything I can think of. I am myself in therapy to be the best supportive stepmother that I can for all of them, but I cannot allow someone so malicious and selfish to keep destroying what few things I have from my family. I lost most of them to war when we were refugees during my childhood. I feel like the a-hole because she's a child, but at her age, I knew not to steal. She has been put through therapy and is not diagnosed with kleptomania or anything beyond her control. She is just selfish, spoiled, and has an if I see it and want it for any reason, I will get it no matter who it hurts attitude. Last Christmas, she threw a whole tantrum over getting the wrong colored AirPods. She does not have any different mental abilities that would explain any of this either. We had her tested extensively and at great expense to try and help her. There is nothing medically quantifiable that would excuse her behaviors, and like I said, she is almost a legal adult. Am I the a-hole? And there is an update that we have, but do we think that OP is an a-hole?
No.
No.
How old is this child? I
Try to
don't
see.
understand how old she is.
She isn't a little kid, almost done with high school. But we do have an update. As of last night, they live 5 hours away one way. My husband has gone there to try and get our stuff back, but the mother, I have dubbed Hell Beast, won't let them on the property because this is a direct quote. How dare those low-life G-words accuse my child? They're known thieves. We have called the cops, but they say it is a civil matter. Cops are useless, especially since they live in an affluent area. Her room has been tossed in the past. She stashes things, and we have no idea where. We have a suspicion that her mother helps her. Directly after the first two instances, he was deployed. He did, to his credit, run the whole 5-hour trip one way to try and get my daughter's stuff back. The ex wouldn't let him in, and the cops wouldn't do anything. He did not have the same time allowance the second time. I use the verbiage I do because in therapy, she demanded I stop treating her and stop talking about her like I do my own kids. The therapist agreed that it was a reasonable ask, and I have treated her warmly and with kindness since. She treats me like a servant. My kids are teens. She only was able to personally target them one time before going for the dishes. My husband has disowned her as of last night. He said that he will still support her financially, but until she shows and proves changed behaviors, she is not welcomed into our life and will not be meeting her new sibling until she can show that she can be trusted. During one of her tantrums, she broke someone's hand. What? I do not trust her around a newborn, and my husband agrees. He told her that the money we have shoveled into the fire, paying for her therapy sessions 3 times a week for almost 6 years, plus testing, was a good investment to open his eyes to what a horrible person she grew up to be. She started screaming when he told her to return the box because it had baby booties in it that we needed. We have photos of my son's and daughter's booties, and he told me that he knows someone who crochets who will recreate them for me. He said that he knows it's a poor substitute, but that it pains him to see how she has been so malicious with no logical reason. He is also reaching out to artisans to replace my daughter's stuff as well. The items are Middle Eastern, so he asked my family's help to locate someone to recreate them exactly. My husband has a big heart and is at times too forgiving, but he is putting his foot down hard. He also ordered a brand new set of the dishes that she stole from my son. She has been screaming and crying, saying that impregnating the help has ruined their family dynamic, going so far as to blame me for her theft in the first place.
What is the mom telling her? That's what I want to know.
Absolutely. Yeah, because that, like,
Boy,
100%, if the mom was saying what she said earlier, like, definitely is, the mom is
yeah, if the mom
talking her.
Well, if the mom has all these racist notions against OP,
absolutely,
and OP's family, then yeah, it tracks that she's been poisoning her daughter's mind with all of that, and now the daughter thinks, oh, it's fine to steal from these people,
right?
Because they're, you know, not
they deserve all this.
They deserve it, yeah.
And if the mom is, you know, we don't know if the mom's helping her hide things, but it's very possible. I would not put it past her. And I do wonder too then, like, was there like a messy divorce with the husband and the wife? Because like that could explain that she's just looking to hurt and just feeling so bitter to the point where she's being extremely racist. She said that I had no right to own anything so precious. She said the same about my daughter and went so far as to say that there's no way that my daughter has accomplished more than her because the help is only there to scrub toilets and be silent. Oh my God. This girl
so sucks.
insane.
This girl sucks.
Oh my goodness. He woke me up with breakfast in bed and then told me today that he's sending me and my daughter to a spa for a day of relaxation while he contacts a lawyer to attempt to legally force her to give the box back, as well as disinheriting her the second she turns 18. He's giving my son an option that would appeal to him as well, so he doesn't feel left out. And by the way, I hope you don't leave us out of your daily routine of listening to full episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. It also came out last night in her screech ramblings that she smashed the dishes out of hatred, saying that my son didn't deserve something like she and her brothers would get since he is the son of the help. We won't be getting those back. So save any of your sympathy for her. Any sympathy that I had flew out the window the millisecond those hate-filled words escaped her mouth. Her father told her to apologize and she refuses. He then reminded her that he, not she, had worked hard to accumulate the lifestyle she enjoys. That while I started out cleaning his house, I owned my own businesses. I started while scrubbing other people's toilets, while she doesn't even know how to scrub a dish. That he never saw me as the help. And that's the end of that story.
Dang.